lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on and they get
He missed the complete. That is crazy stuff.
Side Freitas is on the grass on the infield before. He slides through. He tags Richard Eck.
After the opening round at Road America, the iRacing Drivers Association GT3 World Championship comes here to Brands Hatch for the second round of 17 on the 2017 schedule. 36 drivers have pre-qualified to continue their quest for the season crown and the 1,000 Australian dollars that goes with it. And you can see all the action from the qualifying to checkered flag live as it happens here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. From Old Blighty, welcome and hello to GSRC's Countdown to the Green. I'm your host, Bill Soupson. Helping me call the action is the Australian sage, Richard Losper. Turning the knobs and pushing the sliders is Amjad Yaman, and at his disposal are the camera locations provided by Dougie Beard. It's a gray late afternoon day here on the island nation of England, and the air temperature is 20 degrees Celsius under overcast skies with a track temperature of 20 degrees Celsius as well. The drivers have their Audis, Mercedes, BMWs, McLarens, and Fords on the track right now, finishing up the final 10 minutes of practice before the 25-minute open qualifying session that will grid the 1.5-hour race that immediately follows. And GSRC's coverage of all the proceedings is made possible thanks to the good folks at This is Australia Migration Services, providing professional migration advice and visa services for anyone seeking to come to or stay in Australia. For expert advice and assistance with your Australian visa matters, contact them at thisisaustralia.com. Richard, I think everyone considered the series debut a success, and this late afternoon affair should be nothing less.
Indeed, the race at Road America was very tense and very exciting. And today we are in England at Brands Hatch. And I want to say, as I look at my window here in Brisbane, Australia, where I am, Bill, it is a grey old day here. It's not 20 degrees, it's more like 30, but it is a grey old day with the rain threatening all the time. However, let's quickly talk about Brands Hatch, the track. This track is well known in British motor racing of all descriptions. Designed mostly for motorcycles, Bill. We have some fantastic names. They're mostly the names of ex-motorcycle aces. Names like Hawthorne, names like Derek Minter, Sheen, Barry Sheen, Sterlings, and so on. The track has huge elevation changes, none more so than down into turn 1 and back up again into Druids and around the Cooper straight down the Hawthorne bend and so on. But let's have a look at a lap guide and you will see exactly what I'm talking about. This track is magnificent.
All right, we've got Kevin Brown behind the wheel of the GSRC Z4, so let's do a lap around Brands Hatch. Right off the bat, we've got the tricky Paddock Hill Bend. The whole thing is blind, and there's this enormous drop that can take the car out from under you if you're not careful. At the bottom of the hill, the car compresses and will catch, but by then you're setting up for the braking into Druids. This is a potential passing zone if you can get a run on someone, but it's very easy for it to turn into a dive bomb and take both of you out. Once you exit, switch right and get ready for Graham Hill Bend. The braking zone is tricky here with a slight kink, but you can carry a lot of speed and use the runoff to the right to your advantage. From there, it's a short burst along the Cooper Straight into Surtees. This is a critical turn with a very late apex. With this steep incline and a long stretch afterwards, the sooner you can get to the power, the better the lap. But interestingly, even with a good exit, you might not always find a passing opportunity. At the end is Hawthorne, which is a very fast corner. Either you'll need cooperation from your opponent or a lot of guts to make it stick. Now we're into the back section in the woods. First up is Westfield, which requires precision to hit just right. With this being an old school track, there's very little runoff on either side to save you if you mess up. Then there's no time to relax before Dingledale and Sheen, which also tests the driver's accuracy. It'll be single file the whole way through here. Finally, we switch across and use the banking of Sterling to once again wring out every ounce of momentum the tires can take. We'll finally be exiting the trees and setting the car up for Clark, which has another crest at the apex. Get it right and it's a breeze. A foot off or so, and you'll be spitting out gravel. It's a short lap in modern cars, but no less difficult as we complete a lap at Brands Hatch.
Kevin Brown behind the wheel, Joe Peak behind the mic, taking us around the 3.9 kilometer, 2.4 mile, 9-turn course here at Brands Hatch. Now, if you were with us last time from Road America, you saw John World Peacenik in his Ford GT lead the first 29 laps. Luis Pablo Gallon made a brave two-tire strategy that allowed him to lead for the next 10 laps until Peacenik caught and passed Gallon. Peacenik holding the lead for the final 16 laps to earn the checkered flag. Kane Kugimiya was able to get around Gallon with 6 laps to go to earn second place. Gallon and Simon Fagel had an intense battle for third, with Gallon able to fend off the challenge. Now, when it comes to the point standings after one race, obviously the standings pretty much are going to reflect the results of the first race. John Peacenik has announced that he will be a part-time driver this season, and to that point is not here today. We should take notice, though, of Blake Neck in 5th. He had a very quiet top 5 finish and was very impressive in his first race into this series. The only driver in the top 10 other than Peacenik not scheduled to be here today is George Johnson, who's toughing it out in Hawaii right now. Richard, for new viewers, let's cue them in a little bit on the series, what it's all about.
Yep, and just a short note, there was some interesting comments about our descriptions of the Road America race with regards to Blake Neck. So, you know, people were talking about long neck and stiff neck and whatnot, and I know that those are descriptions that you, bro, introduced on the broadcast last time. But putting that aside, let's talk about the series here. So this is season 2. The first time on the world stage here. This is scheduled round number 2 of 17, so it's going to be a long season. It goes all year round, I believe. There are no drop races, so any mistakes in a particular race or not turning up for a race will hurt your points. The cars are the Audi, there's 16 of them, Mercedes-Benz 16, 5 Fords, 1 BMW. 0 McLarens as we have at the moment. That was the count from the pre-race qualifying that we saw. Switching cars is allowed during the course of the season, which is a strange rule, but a welcome rule for some drivers, no doubt. Setups are open. Fuel is unrestricted, so you can fill up the tank as much as you want. The format is, there are 6 different variations in format. We'll have to talk about each of them as those races come up. The starts are rolling, which is a really good idea for cars with different strengths. The cautions are local only, which means no cautions. Dynamic weather, and as Bill said, it's 20 degrees out there. Very, very grippy out there at the moment. Prizes. The first prize, Bill mentioned this as well. First prize, $1,000. Pre-qualifying, Bill, let's go back to you now.
Yeah, we'll talk about this right now. And let's be fair to Richard there. Somebody gave him some bad information. Those 16 Mercedes and 16 Fords are Audis, and that was from the previous race. Somebody neglected to update that in the script. I won't mention any names, but he's bald and has a long beard, so you can probably figure that one out yourself. Let's get down into the what's on tap here today, the actual round format here. Pre-qualifying. Well, first of all, that goes on 2 sessions during the week. There are, I think, about 49 or 50 drivers who have signed up to race in this event, and the series organizers have limited it to 40 cars per event, so everyone has to qualify. There were only 36 drivers who made an attempt, so everyone who tried to get in is going to race here today. But all that means is they're able to race. Then those 36 drivers, and not all of them have showed up, they come in and they have a 25-minute open qualifying, and we're going to show you every minute of that 25-minute qualifying there as they find themselves a spot on the grid. There's no towing, so if they crash, they got to either limp that car around or they're done for the day. So they have to be careful out there. And then, of course, the grid is sequential normally out as you would expect. Then after the qualifying is done, our race today is 1.5 hours. It's in the late afternoon. We expect there to be 1 pit stop. There will be no fast repairs. This is big boy racing. You break it, you bought it. Incident cap, there is no disqualifications, but you do pick up penalty points, and a few of the drivers did lose 15 race points. Those are your championship points to get to the crown for going over that 35-point incident there. Standard championship points are awarded here today. So that's pretty much it. We just have qualifying and an hour and 30-minute race with a pit stop involved in there somewhere, Rich.
Yes, indeed. And I'm just looking here at the entry list. By far, most of the drivers here are from Australia, which is understandable because the organizers of this series are from Australia. They are from Adelaide in South Australia. And there are a lot of recognizable Australian names here in the lineup. And good on them. There's a couple there, one from UK and I'm looking at Benjamin Packetson and a few others as well, but vast majority of the drivers all from Australia, Bill. In fact, all of them bar one.
Well, probably not too bad in England right now. I think they're about 7 hours ahead from where I am on the West Coast, so that puts it about 7 in the morning on a Saturday for them. That's probably not too rough right now. For this commentator, it's it's just turning over to Saturday morning right now, and for our director, it's 2 a.m. on Saturday, so we're working a little hard here. That's why we don't see a lot of too many drivers from around the globe. Although, Richard, I'm surprised we don't see some of the good Japanese drivers. This would be a good opportunity for them to race in here. I'm surprised.
Yes.
Wouldn't be surprised if we don't see a few of them pop in before the season is over.
This is actually quite a good time for everyone around the world excepting Americans, because if you think about it, the international guys, it's early morning for them right now, perhaps. For the Asians, you're quite right. The Asians are about an hour or so ahead of us, or an hour behind us, I forget which. So it's a good time for them. It's a good time for me. It's one of the few broadcasts that I do which is at a time that is not at a freakish hour of the night.
Yes, you do put in a good. You are a real soldier there with us with some of the hours that we have you working. That's what you get when you're living on the wrong side of the globe. Hey, let's look here. Joshua Rogers, he was your top qualifier in the pre-race qualifying again. We call him the gambler. He's actually Joshua K. Rogers, and wouldn't you know that K stands for Kenny? So Kenny Rogers, of course. Yes, our director doesn't believe that is
You
actually.
gotta know when.
So he is we know Kenny Joshua from the IDA, the GT3 series that we ran earlier. He ran in, I think, both that one and in their Formula Renault series that they had. Look at this. Up there second right now in practice time is Pablo Gallon. We saw him have a great third place finish last time at Road America. So he's somebody to keep an eye on as well. Richard Hampstead also up in the practice times. But none of that means much, Richard. It's all about qualifying, and that's going to start here in just a few seconds.
Yeah, and of course, Bill, this track is not like Road America. Road America is fairly wide open, very predictable high speed or medium speed corners at Road America. This course is completely different. This course has massive elevation changes, even though there are elevation changes at Road America. This one has blind elevation changes, which is completely different. And then, of course, we've got Druids, which is a genuine 180-degree hairpin. You've got Surtees, which is that left-hander just coming off the short Cooper straight there, which heads up the hill. That is a tough turn. You've got Hawthorne Bend, which is a very fast right-hander. And then you've got that three-part turn, which is the Minter Straight, the Westfield Bend, Dingle Dell, and into Sheen Curve. In fact, 4 parts to it. And then that Sterling Curve, which is that banked left-hander. So a lot of very tough corners here. The weather is very grippy, but for these cars, Bill, I think with all the grip, they can get a lot of spin. I'm not an expert on these cars, but I'm seeing that some of the guys are having difficulty controlling these cars on this track as well.
You can see the drivers out on their out lap right now. The gambler out there, the first car out of the pits, that's Joshua Rogers. Now, this lap is not for time right now. They're just warming up the tires. Right behind him, Richard Hampstead, and then Luis Paulo Gallon. I would think they would want to leave themselves a little bit of distance there. Gallon a little bit closer to Hampstead. Unless, Richard, maybe you can steal a toe here, do you think? And maybe get that qualifying speed a little faster than you might be able to do it on your own.
Absolutely. There's tow everywhere on just about every track. There's some place where you can take advantage of the hole being punched in the air by the car in front of you, and this track is no different. There's certainly a couple of spots where the tow does help you. Not that much as on a track like Road America, of course, but certainly there's a tenth or two to be gained. Just having a look at some of the drivers here. So we've got Clint Smith out there. Clint is the organizer. We've got Simon Fagel from last week. We've got Gallen from last week. Bunch of drivers have joined in. Salvasi's out there as well. Riley Blythe in there. This is going to be a very interesting race because, of course, we are still learning some of the attributes of these newer drivers as this is a start of a new season.
So right now, looking to post a time, and we will put up the top 10 graphic a little more than we did the first race up there. It takes up a little space on the screen, but I think it might be helpful to see how these guys are doing getting in their qualifying times. Now remember, just because Rogers comes across first, that doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to get a qualifying time, because it's really, you have to be clean. If you put it off, a tire's off into the grass, pick up what they call an incident point, then it's not going to give you a score. You have to be clean.
That is absolutely correct. And there we saw James Scully just going off track there out of the Sheen Curve, or just before Sheen Curve, and he's not going to get any points for that. A number of cars on the side of the track there. I'm just looking at Riley Blythe facing in the wrong direction. That's not where you want to be.
And sure enough, I think Rogers did not get a clean lap in, but Hampstead put up a nice time of 1:22.
Bill, this is fantastically interesting because obviously the situation being they can't take a tow. They've got to limp that car back to the pits.
So director spots something there. We're looking here. We're going to look on Blythe. Oh, here we go. Riley Blythe had an incident. Somebody might have spun behind him. We didn't catch that one. You might have seen it on the screen. Their viewers better than I did. I was checking some of our timing and scoring. But now what Riley's going to have to do, he has to take that damaged car, that Audi, all the way around. He can come in and get a nice, new, clean car, but he just can't press the magic button and magically show up in the pit lane.
Yep, and it looks like he's entering pit lane now, getting into his pit stall, so he'll get a new car and be able to proceed with his qualifying. I missed the other guy. There's somebody that was off track for a while as well, Jeffrey Price. Let's go and have a quick look. He's back on track now.
New driver at the top of the chart, Simon Fagel, puts in a 1:21.9. Nice job from him as he moves to the top now, ahead of Richard Greeneggs and
that was the other car. Sorry guys, I found the other car. It was Jeffrey Price. That's the other car that was involved and sitting on the edge there. He's coming around to the pit still by the looks of things.
Rogers now P1 with a 21.6. Hampstead with a 21.9. Fagel with that 21.9 is now in third. Hampstead's was a 9.1. Fagel's was a 9.4.
Gallen currently sitting in fourth place with a 122.3. Then fifth place currently Martin Salvasi. Bear in mind that these names can change at any moment.
Looking now at Benjamin Hackison, who put in a 122.7, sitting in P5, just behind Gallen.
That is correct. He's pushed Martin Salvasi just down one spot. Philip Morton currently in 8th position. Brock Cadday, who we mentioned last week, he was a new entry. He's in 9th, and then top of the at the top 10 position is Joshua Haddon. These are provisional times that they will change, might change, will change probably before the qualifying is completed.
30 drivers so far have shown up for the event. 36 qualified in the pre-qualifying session. So 6 drivers did not show up. But there's still time for them to sneak in here, put in a time, and get in the race. We're looking right now there.
What I'm concerned about is there's about 7 or 8 drivers that have not managed to get a time yet, and those guys they've got plenty of time left, but if they got damage to their cars, Then they've got to get it back to the pits, grab a new car and come out and do one out lap and then their first hot lap. So the time runs down surprisingly quickly when you're struggling with your car.
We're on board there with David Miller. And now we have a problem here with Huxham has had some trouble. He was currently qualified in 14th position. Had a little spin. He was following Mark Simon there.
Yep, he's got his car going again, and he's now heading out of clearways. Let's see if he decides to go into pit lane. No, he feels his car is okay. He's going to continue with qualifying.
Kenny Rogers bringing it in now, probably looking for a fresh set of tires. He's sitting on the pole, 21.3. And when I say 21.3, viewers, you can just put the 1 in front of it. Obviously, it's 1 minute 21.3.
Simon Fagel right up there in third place, as we've seen before. Nathan Grouden, there's a new name, in 7th place now. We got one off track there, Philip Morton. Let's have a look and see what's going on with Philip.
There we go. We're going to look here for Philip Salty Morton. He is up. He had a little spin and he got the car back going again. We watched there with Salty. Looks like that was in the Audi.
Yes.
Yeah.
Disappeared
Same
now.
spot
What
again.
happened to him?
Right now, if you want to keep an eye on your manufacturers, you have Rogers out there in a Mercedes. Sitting in second is Hampstead in a Mercedes. Then Simon Fagel has the BMW in third position. A Mercedes in fourth, and then rounding out your top 5, another BMW. Let's ride ahead here. Let's go ahead and ride on board with Luis Paulo Galone. We're not maybe right on board, but we'll watch him do this entire lap. Here we go on board.
The green Mercedes.
Might have put it off.
I think he's okay. I think he's okay on that particular corner. Now he goes around to this very fast section of the course. This is just great. Through Sheen Curve, down into into Stirling. And then that short little straight to Clearways, and he'll come up on to the front straight to complete the lap.
Clearways kind of
time.
almost like a double corner there. It's almost like almost a double apex there as you come around. Let's see what kind of time. His best time was a 22.3. And I don't think he can better that one right now. So that 23 will stand as he remains in fourth.
Bill, one of the things that's interesting to me, Kane Kugimia. I'm getting lessons from Bill Zahn, folks, on pronunciation. This is a first. Kugimia. He's sitting out there, not in the sim at the moment, which in iRacing terms means he's out of it right now. Zachary Hanlon as well, and Darren McKenzie. But I'm concerned about Kane Kugimia because he was doing so well in the last race there at Road America. And I want to see if he's got a time at all. I can't see a time for him here on the qualifying.
The good news is he has a practice time in, and how about a nice practice time of a 1:21.9? Okay, we're going to see if we can talk to our series organizer here, Clint Smith, who has yet to put the car out on the track. Okay. Talk to Clint. Clint, how you doing? What's up?
Yeah, no, a bit disappointed. Unfortunately, I've been to my first flying lap.
Oh, is that why I see the 130 out there? So you are done then, huh? The car is. Are you going to try to can't you get in and get that fixed up? See if you can get a better one.
No, unfortunately, I just pinched the brakes and stuck it straight on the wall and I waited for the traffic to go past and then went to turn the car around, but unfortunately just went straight.
That's called being hoisted by your own petard. Is that you came up with the rules of not being able to tow, and you are really a victim of your own rules there. Well, that's okay. You have 90 minutes, plenty of time. You had a great run last time. I think. What did you get, a 9th place finish last time out?
Yeah, 9th place finish. I mean, it was a really good result, and hopefully I can back it again sometime tonight. I don't like my chances starting off the back of the field, but we'll see what I can do. I mean, the race pace seems to be pretty strong in the Evolution Racing Australia car, so we'll see what I can do in the race.
Good news is I see Zachary Hanlon finally getting out there, putting in a time. We haven't seen anything from Kugimiya yet. Do you have any news on that one? What maybe he's waiting on? Any knowledge?
No, I'm not too sure on that. Perhaps he might be doing a bit of a Red Bull racing technique and doing a one-lapper towards the end.
Hey Clint, it's Richard here. What are the conditions like out there? We know it's very grippy, only 20 degrees C out on the track and the air temp as well. Not that much humidity, so it should be pretty grippy for you guys out there.
Yeah, no, the track is really gripping really fast at the moment. I'm really expecting this race pace to be really quick, so you're definitely going to have to be on edge if you're going to want to try and keep up with people. You can't just pot around and go slow.
Yeah, indeed. And also, too much, there is such a thing as too much grip, and this is really approaching that sort of condition where there's such a lot of grip that you really have to watch your turn-ins to corners and so on as well.
Yeah, you got to watch your braking as well, unfortunately. But yeah, no, like I said, I just happened to pinch the brakes. But other than that, the car's really strong, so like I said, I'll see what I can do during the race pace. But we half expected to see Josh up at the front of the field. Josh did a really good job here during the iRacing Blancpain Series qualifying. Yeah, the TTL guy should be really strong here as well. So, but yeah, we'll see if anyone can match them at the front. Louise and Simon seem to be a pretty good job at the moment, but we'll have to wait and see how the race pace goes.
Clint, are you going to take tires?
I can't say that. My competition, but you're listening.
You don't want to say that on the broadcast. Many are listening.
Nah, but to be honest with you, I don't expect anyone to take tyres tonight because with the track being so cool, obviously Evolution Racing Australia, most of us went BMWs because we assumed a lot of people go Mercs, and if it was going to be a warm temperature, the Mercs would have struggled more than what the Beamers would have on tyres. But unfortunately, with the cooler weather, I expect the Mercs would be able to do pretty well on tyres, so the Beamers might struggle a bit tonight, but we'll have to wait and see. Usually this track's a Beamer track, but we'll have to wait and see how it goes.
Yeah, I see a couple more. Sorry, Bill. See a couple more of the Beamers out there at the moment, but still the Mercs seem to be the main car here in the class. And we saw that last couple of weeks ago at Road America. Gallant was the only guy that we know of that opted not to take any tires. He suffered for that at that race there, but this is a different story, a much cooler track. But then again, Clint, a lot more twisty than Road America, so I don't know, it's a toss-up for me.
Yeah, well, about Louise actually, he actually took 2 tyres last race only, so I think he took the working side tyres only in that race from what I heard, so pretty brave thing. I mean, I know last race I took no tyres as well, but it wasn't the place, so unless you have a cool track you can't go no tyres. But we'll wait and see how some people's... I honestly, I don't think if people took tyres they wouldn't have enough time to make them benefit to get up there. But we'll wait and see. So somebody might prove me wrong and take a gamble and see if they can pull a rabbit out the hat, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
Okay, and just so for our own information, your fuel, you guys have unlimited fuel, so what sort of strategies do the guys deploy? Do they go full fuel, like they fill up the tank all the way, or because you can get about an hour or so on a full tank, is that right?
Yeah, you get about roughly an hour on a full tank. Tonight might be a little bit less, obviously, with the quick lap times that's going to be happening in the extra grip on the track. So more than likely everyone's going to be starting off with a full tank of fuel and then pretty much pit at some point. So at least the benefit with tonight's race compared to last fortnight's race in round 1, it's an hour and a half race, so you kind of got half an hour to play with. So if you want to try and do an undercut somebody, you can definitely make that benefit, whereas last round you can't because you had to stop within a 1 hour to put 1 hour worth of fuel in. So tonight's going to be a bit more of a strategy call when you choose to pit and when you choose not to pit.
Yeah, a wider pit window, obviously, with a 90-minute race. Well, back to you, Bill. Any more questions for Clint?
Nah, I think let's let him go and he can lick his wounds there and figure out his strategy to come from the back. Good luck to you, Clint.
All right, thanks for that. Good luck, guys.
Cheers, Clint.
We can go ahead and tell you that Zachary Hanlon was able to get out on the track, and he put in a good time. He's now sitting in 5th position. I don't think he's out there right now. Oh, no, he's just coming out of the pits right now in his BMW. Put in a time of 122.2 in 5th position. He was a late starter. Now we got the graphic up there. You can see all your top 10 there. Rogers, Hampstead, Fagel, familiar names. Gallon, Hanlon, Hamilton, familiar names again. Now here's a newcomer, Nathan Gowden. Not familiar with him. He's out there right now in a BMW as well, racing in the number 2 machine. Hackison.
Yeah, I think that might be Grouden or Groden.
I go with Groden
Is it
on that one. I
R
like
in
Groden, yeah. We'll go with Groden. Hackison in 7th, and then 8th. I'm sorry, 8th for Hackison. And then the sliver, Martin Slavossi in 9th, and rounded out your top 10, Riley Blythe. Kugimia has yet to put in a time, and also welcome to the server now. And he's out on the track. It is Blake Neck. Let's go ahead and look at him running in the number 32 machine out there in his BMW this week. And just spinning behind Blake.
Scully. There's a Scully off the track at the moment. Jason Scully, car number 9, off track at the moment.
Take a look at that one right now. We see Scully in that Audi. Not many of those out there. Oh, and that's going to be a hard one. Let's stay on this a little bit, Director. Did he back it out and bring it around? Yes, he did. So he limped it around. You can get a fresh car if you can get that back around, and I think you should be able to do that one. 7 minutes to go in qualifying. Let's go ahead and look at. Oh, it looks like Blake may have gone over. Looking at Blake Neck, currently in 32nd position. See if we can get on him, and I think he actually blew his hot lap.
Kugimia's still not out there. He's got very little time left to get in and do a couple of laps because he's got to do at least a couple. He's got a practice time, but doesn't look good. Looks like he may have decided not to race, as has Darren McKenzie.
Well, I can attest to having some iRacing issues earlier today. I had to miss one of our broadcasts because the gremlins were getting me from iRacing. Got that fixed up. I'm glad to be back here. So you never know what could be going on. Got a car off. Let's go ahead and look at Jeffrey Price. The Tasmanian driver has put it onto the grass right now, and he's trying to limp that Audi back around.
Oh, Philip Morton as well. Philip Morton, another Audi, looking on the side of the road there, just sitting there at the moment. 12th position, qualified. So that's a good qualifying out of the 30 cars, but he's sitting on the grass at the moment. That's off turn 3 there by the looks of it. It's a tough turn.
The no tow rule does put a little pressure on these drivers to limp it back in safely. Sometimes it's hard to do. Yeah, I think it was getting to the end there. He only had about 5 minutes. By the time he would have brought that back, had his out lap, maybe would have been able to put in one hot lap.
Yeah, you pretty much, if you wreck now, then you might as well just take the tow because 5 minutes left. Less than 5 minutes of qualifying left. Gosh, that went quickly, Bill. That's
sure did.
It was 25 minutes of qualifying. That just went like lightning.
Richard Hampstead sitting in 2nd. Gary Hamilton sitting in 7th. Those guys are rivals. Raced against each other many times in the earlier iRacing Drivers Association series. Right now, they're separated by 4 or 5 cars. They had a great battle last time in our opening race at Road America. Not sure if the racing gods are going to find them next to each other this time.
Simon Fagel off the track at the moment, limping around. He probably finished.
Missing a hood. We'll see if we can find out what happened to Simon. There you see him in that yellow beam. Oh, they got a little bit loose.
Oh, turn 3 claims another victim.
Richard, I think that's a case of him knowing he's sitting in 3rd and really just pushing the envelope, see what he can get out of it.
I agree. I agree. You get your banker laps, and they've got plenty of lap time or qualifying time to get their banker laps. And so once you've got a couple under your belt, and then you experiment to see how much faster you can go, if you can possibly go faster.
Okay, if you're a veteran viewer of the series, this is a good time maybe for you to go get a drink, because I'm going to talk about pit stop strategy and tires. With these GT3 cars, for new viewers, they cannot do fuel and tires simultaneously. They can do it on the same pit stop, but not at the same time. You need to take fuel, and then if you want the tires, you have to take it afterwards. It takes about 20 seconds to take all four. Rule of thumb for me is if it's a 2-hour race, you take tires. If it's a 1-hour race, you don't take tires. If it's a 90-minute race, I don't know what you do. It's kind of a break-even point right there, that 90-minute mark. I would be surprised if we see many tire changes, though, today. I think Clint had the number, especially Richard, with the track being so grippy.
That's correct. Clint kind of said that he wouldn't be thinking about taking tires because the track is very cool. And you can get 90 minutes. They still have to do a pit stop for fuel, no doubt about that, right. Because, as he mentioned, you can get about an hour or so, or maybe less, on these very grippy conditions. An hour's worth of driving out of a full tank. And so you want to come in and get a top up of fuel enough for half an hour. It's about a half a tank. So not an insignificant amount of fuel they have to take, Bill.
And let's talk about the pit window. We're going to see an enormous pit window. I believe they could come in anywhere from 30 minutes into the race, or probably go close to an hour. So you could see some people do that early stop. We saw a few guys try it last time, and it works well. Another thing that I have never seen, I'll be honest with you, I've done a lot of GT3 races. I cannot remember a time I've seen a driver take 2 left side tires. I believe at Road America, that's probably the side that he took. From what I've understood from any driver, this is when you change just one side, it ruins the balance of the car. But it worked great for Gallon as he was able to have the lead. It just the race was just a little too long for him.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that strategy myself. But I tell you what other factors need to come into consideration when you're thinking about your pit stop and when to do your pit stop. So the pit window will open around the 30-minute mark. And the drivers would be well to go closer to perhaps 35-40 minutes before thinking about their pit stop, just because they could be using a lot more fuel than they think they need to today with the grippy conditions. However, when you come in is also predicated on what's happening out on the track. So this has been my strategy. If I'm ahead and guys are trailing me and benefiting from my draft, I want to come in as soon as the pit window opens to get rid of them. On the other hand, if you are the draftee, you are the one gaining from the draft, you want to stick with that driver in front as long as you can and pit at the very last second. So those are the 2 strategies that are possible to employ. If you're somewhere in the middle, it doesn't really matter.
Looking at Hampstead right now, who's hopefully on a good lap. Right, he's 0.4 of a second behind Rogers, and well, he said it looks like this is going to set it up for his final lap here. Richard, while we're maybe right on board here with Green Eggs as he works his way around, seeing if he can better his time. One thing that didn't play a big factor at Road America, and that was lap traffic. I'm not sure if that's not going to play a much bigger factor here with a skinny track and it being way shorter than Road America was.
That is very, very important. So Road America, you had a very long track. Here I think we've got more cars to date on this track. Plus, you're quite correct, this is a much more tricky track, so you would expect the faster guys perhaps like Joshua Rogers, Richard Hampstead, to catch up to the lap car, to the slower cars, and create a situation where traffic becomes a problem. We will find out about that.
Oh, here comes now Simon Fagel. Keep an eye on this as he's getting a tow. We'll see if he's able to put in a fast time. He's sitting qualified 3rd right now. He is right behind Zachary Hanlon. We'll see if Fagel can get a fast time. Hanlon is no slouch out there. Oh, and I think
off track.
That might have been the off track, and that may have been all she wrote for Simon.
And there's the toe having a spin in front of him as well.
Hampstead pits. We can update you that Kugimia never did come out, neither did Darren McKenzie. Both of those guys were in practices. We're watching Hamilton right now come across. Nope. And I believe that's just about going to wrap it up. So pretty much once the top 10 were set, it was pretty much locked in there. Let's go ahead and talk about the grid right now. Let's bring it up. On the pole, it's going to be the Gambler, Joshua Rogers. Richard Hampstead is going to be outside him in row 1. Row 2 is going to be made up of Simon Fagel and Luis Paulo Gallen. Zachary Hanlon and Riley Blythe make up the 3rd row. Gary Hamilton and Benjamin Hackison in the 4th row. And the 5th row is going to be made up of Nathan Groudon and Martin the Sliver Silvasi. Richard?
Yep, and we're waiting for the graphic to come up as they're starting to get to the grid there. At the moment, Bill, I have lost my connection to the director via Splashtop, so you go ahead, please.
Matt Mortis and Philip Morden are going to be 11th and 12th. Here's a guy that we saw a lot of the first race at Road America, Arturo Amro. And then it is Blake Neck. Now look at Blake. He had a 5th place finish. He's back in 14th right now. Paul Lonergan in 15th spot. Behind him is going to be Peter Lynn. 17th and 18th is going to go to Scuzzy, Jason Scully, and Mark Simon. 19th and 20th, that's David Miller and Joe Pietrowski. 21st position, Hidden Blackjack. What's up, Rich?
I'm laughing because every time I get ready to open my mouth, Splashtop disappears on me.
That's I'll close it out from here, buddy. 21st position, Darren Huxham, Brenton O'Brien, Joshua Hayden, and Brock Cadet in the 24th spot. 25th and 26th, Braden Bateman and Steve Race Carmichael. Jeffrey Price in 27th, Jacob Krabby in 28th spot. 29th and 30th, the last 2 cars to post times, Simon Mizomo and closer was Clint Smith there. 31, I don't believe he's going to race. That's too bad. Kane Kugimia and Darren McKenzie. 30 cars put in a qualifying time. 32 cars on theirs. You with me now, Richard?
Yes, sir, I am indeed. I can talk. I just not being able to see things.
Just can't
at
see,
the
okay.
moment, we have the cars gridding up. Of course, there's a pace lap. It'll be a full pace lap. So it's going to be very interesting. My heart goes out to Clint Shane. He's in 30th place. He's in dead last position of the cars that did qualify. I don't know, and I don't think that the other 2, Kane Kugimia hang on, I'm not seeing Darren McKenzie. Is he out on track?
I don't think McKenzie's out there either. Now look, let's look up front of the top 2 cars. They're doing just to make my life difficult here. Director, am I looking at matching cars on your screen as well between Rogers and Hampstead there? Now, there are no team drivers. I'm looking at those closely, see if there's any distinguishing marks on them. I see the wings are the same color. Everything looks the same color. So if I call those wrong, I can only blame the paint shop on that one. Now, there are no teams. Yeah, there are no teams in this series. There's no team prize, but there are certainly teams. Then there's another collection of cars behind them. These kind of, what color would you say that Simon Fagel in kind of a yellow car? Is that what you'd call that one there? Yellow. And then Luis Gallen in the Mercedes there in kind of another car. And then we have the matching Hanlon back there. You can see teammates between Hanlon and Fagel as well.
Yeah, cars 1 and 2 have not only similar paint schemes, they have exactly the same paint scheme. So that is going to be interesting, and we shall see what the cars behind them can do about breaking them up. So we've got Fagel behind them there, and then of course Gallen as well. Those are wildly different cars. You've got Gallen in a sort of a lime green car, and then you've got Fagel in mostly yellow car. Now remember, these guys were battling fiercely in the last race, Bill. So there's 2 newcomers in front of them there. Maybe not newcomers, but certainly different ones out the front. But Gallen and Fagel, they battled it out for the 3rd place, I believe, last race. So let's see what they can do here today. I think Gallon's going to be fancying his chances.
Bagel picked up a little slap on the hand. They're not a big penalty for blocking, but the race steward said needs to leave him a little more room. Just want to keep a straight, want you not to weave back and forth is all I think they're looking for there. Let's see, keep an eye on that Audi, the only Audi in the mix, sitting back there in 6th position. That's right. That's going to be Riley Blythe back there. Look at them waiting. They are waiting for it to go green. And there it is. Look at the Audi making a move on the outside from 6th position. There's not enough room and he has to back it out. That was Riley Blythe trying to find his way around. Up in front, it's the 2 teammates out there. Let's see who it is. It looks like it's Rogers ahead of Hampstead for now. Hampstead trying to go on the outside, trying to hold those guys back behind him, Rich.
Side by side, Gallon and Fagel, as we saw before. Then we've got Gary Hamilton.
Boys!
They out of turn 3, Bill. We've got Hamilton has made a move successfully on Riley Blythe. Now they go into Surtees for the first time. There's a bobble.
Gallon is loose
from Gallon.
Yeah, Gallon got very close, and Gallon has fallen back to 7th position.
That is correct. He's got Benjamin Hackerson now behind him. He did manage to gather it up. Now they go through Hawthorne and they will head over to the Derek Minter Straight, then into Westfield Bend, then into Dingle Dell, and then finally into Sheen Curve. So a bunch of curves there, and very fast they are as well as they head down towards Sterling's Bend, into Sterling's Bend, and they go around to start heading for Clearways, which is the last bend on this course, and they end the first lap.
And Blake Neck has had, not only did Blake put it off, he nosed it into the wall. I believe that's going to be it for him, as that was through Sterling, I think. We're going to come back and get that one, so after a great first race result, he's going to have a hard time to follow up his 5th place finish. Up in front right now, it is the Gambler, Joshua, Kenny Rogers out there. Now his teammate is right behind him, Richard Green Eggs and Hampstead, followed by Simon Fagel, and his teammate behind him, Zachary Hanlon.
That's correct. And then we've got Gary Hamilton, very useful driver, Gary. And he is sitting in 5th place, and then Riley Blythe in the first of our Audi machines out there at the moment. So we've got Mercedes, 4 BMWs, 3 BMWs, and then the Audi. BMW obviously liking to this track, Bill.
Yeah, there are no Fords here today, and I don't think a McLaren made a show either. Quickly, Director, let's go to 17th spot real quick. This is Brenton O'Brien. Why do we want to talk about him? He's our hard charger so far, up 5 positions from 22nd to 17th. We'll keep an eye on him throughout the race. Right now, he's got a ways to go before he gets up to Mark Simon. Looking at P4 right now, and this is a battle. This is Hanlon Hanlon is off. Hanlon got a little bit loose, and I think he lost that position, didn't he? Lost it to Hamilton.
Yeah, he's back on at the moment. So now Hamilton up ahead of him. Fagel, there's a lot of the same sort of colored cars here, but Roger still leading, Richard Hampstead following, then Simon Fagel, and Gary Hamilton now up to 4th place. Zachary Hanlon has lost the position. He's now in 5th instead of 4th, and then Riley Blythe in 6th place there. Gallon is 5 seconds off the lead now, but he's making up time to get involved with 6th place again.
We're going to go back to the start now and take a look at this one. What I want you to watch is the car on the outside of the 3rd row. It was that McLaren. That was Riley Blythe, who had visions of going on the outside around what that would be paddock there, but he decided better of it and backs off. Then you see those two teammates settle down out in front, as that would be Rogers and Hampstead go in and get that position. Look at Hampstead on the outside there through Druids, but they settle down in, and then Blythe had to settle also in there into 6th position. So it was a pretty clean start. Now we're going to look at Blake Neck. Now remember, Neck had that 5th place result last time at Road America, had a bad qualifying, started well back in the pack. He just got loose, and the car got out from under him, and then when he tried to save it, there was no way to bring it back, and he nosed it into the wall very hard. I believe that's going to be the end of his day. There you can see the car going in right there. Hidden, we're going to go on board with him. You can see him work the wheel here. as the car just got, it's not like I just got the left sides up on the curb. I don't think that was enough to turn the car, and then he kind of slapped it in, nosed it in, and slapped it in. So we'll see if he brings it back out. There are no fast repairs. Now we're back live, Rich.
Okay, let's go to Arturo Amro, who's battling there with the car in front of him, which is Silvasi.
The sliver, yeah.
The sliver. Okay, right. I'm getting it. Now they're going through turn number 3. They're heading up the hill, and he's trying to get on terms with Silvasi at the moment. Not doing the greatest job, and we're talking about Arturo Amro.
Yeah, I think it's Silvasi, Morris, and then Amro is what we were looking at there. Right now Morris running, Silvasi running in 10th position. Morris running in 11th. Those guys pretty stretched out. Very nice. Let's move up a couple spots. Maybe can we look at 8th spot with Benjamin Hackison and then Nathan Roden? This is a nice battle as they're coming on back of Riley Blythe, who's fallen back to 7th in the Audi.
Yeah, nice battle going on here. There's a little bit of a train developing here. So it starts with Nathan Groden here in 9th place. Then you go forward to 8th place. 8th place is Benjamin Hackison. They come up to the hairpin at Druids, and Hackison is just behind Riley Blythe. Riley Blythe is in the Audi there. Then you've got in front of him Gallen. So a little bit of a train here, then a small gap, and then you've got the leaders up ahead there from Hanlon forward. But this is a battle that is developing, and as these guys draw closer and closer to each other, we might see some overtaking maneuvers coming from around Nathan Groden or from perhaps Benjamin Hackison. They're not close enough to try anything at this moment, Bill, but it is developing for sure.
Nothing much going up front. We're not mentioning anything there. Rogers out in front, Hampstead, Fagel trying to stay pace right now.
Joshua had an off track.
Oh, Darren McKenzie has had an off, and he got together with Joshua Hayden. Now I'm going to go ahead and make a call here. Hayden, I don't know.
Ooh, big
I think he
action.
could have left. I think McKenzie might have been able to leave him a little more room. McKenzie's trying to make the pass. McKenzie comes up on the inside, and he knows he's there. Maybe. Boy, that's a tough one. Maybe Hayden needed to come back on the track as much. McKenzie could have left him a little more room.
And that's coming in out of turn number 3, which is a tough turn. It's a high-speed corner, and we might have another look there by the looks of it, another replay.
Yeah, that's just not a lot of give and take there from either one of those guys. I guess maybe they both got what they deserved there, or neither one got what they deserved. I think it's probably fair that they're both out, though. Hey, let's quickly look at 25th position, just because it's always fun to see a McLaren out there, and that's Steve Race Carmichael out there running in 25th right now. He was close to that incident that just took place between we just saw. He's right behind Shane Smith. Smith up to 24th.
Now I'm seeing that there's if you go to Lonergan, which is in 14th position, he is chasing a car in front of him, which is that is Philip Morton. So Philip Morton's had his share of problems already, but he's going straight at the moment, and these guys are trying to catch up to the guys in front of them. We are talking here about 13th place Lonergan, 12th place Morton, and so on. So not a lot of action here, but I'm going to strive to give everybody some time. And Hamilton was in trouble there for a moment, but he's recovered.
Yeah. Hamilton is... We can go to 4th position right now. Hamilton, I think he might be I think he might... He's blinking. He's having some horrible connection issues. He was trying to run down Fagel, but that's not happening right now. He's lost about a second and a half since I watched him, and now he's about to be picked up here by Zachary Hanlon.
Yeah, we should just explain for the viewers that your internet connection is critical for any type of simulated racing. And look at his car, it's just all over the place at the moment. So he's having connection issues for sure, Bill.
Now, Richard, would he know this if he's in the? Sometimes
he knows.
You don't
Yep,
really. Do you really know that? Yeah, it shows up with the would it show up visually while you're racing, or would you just see the numbers, the indicators say that you're
what you see is not your own car doing funny things, but you see all the other cars doing funny things, Bill. And sometimes you don't realize it's you, and you just carry on as if everything's okay until you get the dreaded your connection has fell to an unacceptable level, and then you get booted.
Well, I know Gary pretty well. I've covered a lot of his races. I have a hunch if that doesn't fix itself, he will take care of it. Let's watch this right now. It looks like it's settling down, but what not is settling down is Zachary Hanlon behind him trying to get into fourth position. Hanlon would like to get around Hamilton so that he can be next to his teammate. Fagles running up there in third position. I don't think Hanlon likes, he has separation anxiety there. He wants to get around, get up there.
Now, Bill, looks as if Rogers has opened up a nice gap, 2.8 seconds on his teammate or his partner or his friend.
Salty Morton has had an issue, yeah. It looks like it was in, it looks like it was a paddock on the way to Druids. It's got it off in the beach, nosed it in, and that's the going to be the end of his day, I believe. He's going to have to, it's a long way around to the pits from there. And he towed.
Yeah, he took the tow.
That gives us an opportunity, though. This is a great battle that I've been watching. 18th position, actually 17th position. Brendan O'Brien in a great battle with Jason Scully. Let's stay on this for just a little while. Also in the mix, watching the whole thing happen, is David Miller. Scully really looking to get around. He's got that Audi out there trying to get around the Mercedes that's in front of him. And then back behind is another Mercedes.
Now, Bill, I've been watching Simon Fagel. He's been trying to chase down the second place position of Richard Hampstead. He's currently 1 second behind now. That puts him firmly in the tow. There's not that much of draft available to him, but it just seems to me that he is slowly catching as they go in now through Surtees, up the hill, and then on a little bit of a straight. Then they go down the hill under the bridge, and then they head down towards Hawthorne Bend again, and that gap is 0.9, 0.8 at the moment, so he's catching up. So we'll keep an eye on this one, Bill.
Yeah, and we're looking at that right now. Second, we're looking at Hampstead. We'll stay on that for a minute. I'm going to give out a yell here if there's a pass for fourth, which I think is going to happen pretty soon. They all start with the same amount of fuel, allegedly, assuming that everyone starts with a full tank. That doesn't necessarily mean they burn the same amount of fuel. Maybe if you can follow somebody around for 55 or 60 minutes, if you can come in right behind them, you can get out faster because you won't have to put as much fuel in to finish the race.
And Bill, even the best make wrong fuel calculations. I have seen our friend Rob Hartley, not in this series, Rob Hartley racing around in an MX-5.
Let's go to, keep going, but let's go to fourth position. Oh, boy.
No, you go ahead. Here's the move.
And there it is. Hanlon, that was just a matter of time before Hanlon got around that one. So now it's a question of Hamilton. Oh, Hamilton blinking, coming in right behind him was Gallen. Gallen trying to find his way around. I think Hamilton is the weak link of the chain right now. Blythe back there as well.
Yeah, there's the train now. So you've got Gallen coming up in the back of Hamilton now. Hamilton realizes that he's got problems. He's battling on at the moment, but it's not helping him. Let's hope things settle down. He's in 5th place at the moment. So whilst all this is happening, let me just quickly mention this little story. So Robert Hartley, 3 consecutive races he hasn't put enough fuel in his car when he was in 1st position in the MX-5 in various races that I'm a part of. And that is so tragic. We're looking for a fit name for Robert Hartley. I need you to put your thinking cap on, because that is in MWT as well, Bill. So we want an appropriate nickname for him to do with not being able to get enough fuel in his car.
MWT, of course, is the MX-5 World Tour, one of the long-time series here, covered on GSRC. You know, when you're talking fuel, one of the things that makes it even more tricky, this is not a distance race that is defined by lap numbers. This is a timed race, so sometimes you don't know how many laps you actually have to do. If you cross the start-finish line a few seconds ahead of where you thought you were going to have to go around one more time. Sometimes you want to slow down so that you don't have to longer race.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Timed races are slightly different from lap races, but there's some good software around written by various people that will give you the time that's left and the amount of fuel you need to complete that time. So plenty of software around that can help you. Fuel calculation is one of the favorite software packages around.
Looking at this battle for 7th, let me tell you who's a big fan right now of the guy running in 4th position, and that's Gary Hamilton.
Here comes Blythe. Blythe having a look there into Hawthorne. He was having a look at Gallen there, Bill. Sorry to cut you off, but he tried something. He certainly showed his nose. Gallen was having none of it, and he had to fall back into position again as they head now down into that left-hander Surtees. Sorry, it's not Surtees, it's Sterling's. And then they head towards the final bend clearways. But look for Riley Blythe to make a move on Gallen on this next lap again, because he's very close.
Yeah, well, the point I was making, and it falls right into what you were talking about, is the 9th place driver, Nathan Groden here, who's really getting into this train that we're watching, and that's because Hamilton is slowing these guys down. I can't believe that I'm saying Gary Spyro Slice Hamilton is the slow car of the train, but I think that is the case right now. It could just because of that internet connection.
Yeah, and we saw that very clearly again through turn number 1 there. Gallen is the next one to come up to Hamilton. He's still out there racing. He might well be unaware that he'll know something's up, but he's certainly maybe completely unaware that there's a problem.
Hey, we're quickly going to talk to Philip Morton here, who had some trouble put it in the wall. Your race ended early. How did the track feel out there, though?
Track was actually great. It was a little bit slick to begin with until your tires got up to temperature, but once you were going, it was a real great feeling to go around turn 1, and it was just hooking in nicely.
Okay, well, since you're done, you can let out some of the secrets now. Were you planning to take tires?
No, I wasn't.
Okay.
I was planning to go to the end on the starting tires.
Well, too bad for you. You know, you had how did your first race go at Road America?
That one was ended on the first lap. I had a brake accelerator pedal failure coming into the corner, and I ended up in Arturo's backside, unfortunately.
That's right. We remember that one. Well, all right. You're getting the bad luck out of the way early, Philip. So better luck here the rest of the way. It's a long season.
Thanks, guys.
All right, Philip Morton. His day ended early.
And Bill, I've been watching this battle developing here. Riley Blythe. Riley is currently in 7th position. He's chasing Lewis Gallen. And Gallen, of course, chasing just as hard on Gary Hamilton. And it's fascinating to watch how the gap gets really close and then widens a little bit. They've all got strength in different places. And, of course, you're looking at Riley in the Audi. And then you're looking at Gallen in the Mercedes and Hamilton in a BMW. So 3 different makes of cars battling it out for what is the 5th position at the moment.
Yeah, Hamlin got around him and started to distance now, 1.3 seconds ahead of Hamilton. Blythe in there, Hackison and Groudon in there as well.
Dave Miller's got a problem.
Oh, David Miller. That beautiful red machine. Did he do it himself? He was running in 25th. Yeah, self-spin right in front. Oh, a great job of getting around him by Daryl Huxham. Nice job from Huxham. You be the driver now. Put yourself behind the wheel here, folks, as we're going to go on board with Huxham. And you see that car spinning? And which way you're going to go? It's right in front of you. Now, you have a car to the left of you right now. You don't realize that. There, you can just see it right there. And there's that car, and you make the move. Nice job, Daryl.
Yeah, and I want to tell you, Bill, it seems to me a lot of the spins have happened in turn 3. Now, you can take a lot of the green grassy patch on the outside of the track there, but it is very slippery. And, of course, you're taking a chance going out there with slippery tires. And so the guys are taking that chance, and for a lot of them, it's not coming off, and we're seeing spins. And, of course, we've seen a couple of guys going into the wall during qualifying as well at that very place.
And there are a lot of close confines here. Let's go through this battle right now. 20th position. This is Brock Cadet. He's in a battle with Blake Neck, Clint Smith, and Joel Petrowski. And let's watch
Yes,
it here.
it is.
And I think Blake, remember Blake had that great run. I think Blake has already had some troubles today, so he's trying to make lemonade out of lemons right now as he's working on the back of that McLaren. Don't get too close, you get burned there.
At the
There he
same
goes.
time, Clint Smith. Oh yes, here he comes. Go ahead, Bill.
Well, no, be very patient. Nice job, Blake.
Yeah, and
It looks
Clint
like-
Smith having a look as well. Sorry, Bill.
Blythe in the Audi has spun, and it looks like it was in turn one. It's all over for he got it off into the beach, and it came around on him, put it on the inside wall. He was running about 5th or 6th right now in that train, remember? And our top running Audi is done for the day.
No hood, nothing there. He's got to take the tow. That'll be a 2-minute plus tow for him. He's going to be losing positions left and right. And then he's got to have the car repaired still. So his day might well be done.
I think he just got it off in the beach out there, and then he tried to bring it back, and the car just caught. Honestly, Blythe, I thank you, because it makes me feel better, because I do that a lot. So at least I know if you do it, it makes me feel not so bad about myself. Misery loves company.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, that is not a friendly beach out there. That's why it's very unpopulated most of the time. So occasionally people get out there and then they realize that it's not friendly and they try to get away from it. But it can grab you and spit you out, and that's what happened to Riley Blythe, unfortunately. And he's dropping like a stone now, position by position. And so we have to concern ourselves with those who are on the track. Let's go and have a look at the rundown here, Bill, with Joshua Rogers. Joshua Kenny Rogers out there in first position, having a 4.5 second lead over Richard Hampstead in the same sort of car. And bear in mind, this is Mercedes and versus Mercedes. Then you've got 3 BMWs following, and the first of them, of course, is Simon Fagel. Simon Fagel is 6.7 seconds behind the leader. He can see 2 seconds ahead of him, Richard Hampstead, so he's still in it for sure. And then behind them you've got, let's see, is it Gary Hamilton? Yes, it is still Gary Hamilton. Sorry, it's Zachary Hanlon, my apologies. Zachary Hanlon in 4th place, and then Gary Hamilton soldering on there in his BMW, doing a great job at the moment, and things seem to have settled down for him as well. Bill, that's your top 5.
We'll take it back the next 5 while we're doing it here. Gallon, Luis Paulo Gallon in 6th position. 7th is Benjamin Hackison. He's got about a 1.5 lead. Back to this guy who is very impressive. I want to keep an eye on him. I'm going to go with Nathan Groden. I'm going to go with that as my official pronunciation until I hear differently on that. Running in 8th position. A quiet 8th from him. The sliver, Martin Slavossi back there in 9th. And then rounding out your top 10, hey, it's a McLaren of Matt Morris. Nice to see the McLaren up there inside the top 10.
Mobile 1 McLaren, none less. Matt Morris, yes, I know Matt Morris quite well. And I just want to go back to Nathan Groden. So Nathan is running in a silver and green car. Silver car mainly with some green in the paint scheme as well. You're quite right, Bill. He's done a great job, very steady job there in his BMW, and sitting in a nice handy 8th position at the moment.
I got a great battle for you, and it's a guy that we saw last time, 11th position. It's Arturo Amro. We saw him at Road America put on a good run.
Mark Simon.
And we're seeing that Simon has had an off. We'll see if we can get it. And there it is. Does he put... Oh...
Self-spin, same place as so many.
Looks like he's okay, though. Looks like the cart wasn't damaged too much. Let's go ahead and drop back now to this 11th position battle here we were talking about. Arturo Amro being challenged by Paul Lonergan.
Now, Paul Lonergan's got the same color car as Nathan Groden. Same livery, I should say. So certainly is a battle brewing right here. Paul Lonergan and Arturo Amro. Now, we saw a lot of Arturo in the last race at Road America, and it ended with him having a fatal accident and having to, well, not a fatal accident, having a terminal accident for his car and having to abandon the race. But here he is battling away at the moment in, what's the position there? That's 11th position with 12 trying to get on terms with him at the moment.
Peter Lynn watching the whole thing happen in that Audi back there, trying his best to get back into this fight. Looking now at that battle, we continue to look at Arturo there. It's a beautiful colored car there. I like that one, Arturo. That's easy to find. Monster Energy machine. Looking back at some other battles now, Richard, we are into the pit window now. This would be the very front end of it.
You're quite right. Right now would be a little risky to pit.
Yeah.
29 minutes gone, so roughly 30 minutes gone in the race, but there's better than an hour still left, so 1 hour and 4 minutes or so left. Lots of close racing at the moment.
Oh,
but
let's go to...
no real battles. Go ahead.
Oh, I thought there was going to be more exciting. That's a lap car getting out of the way. Nice job from Darren McKenzie. A great battle for 5th position right now. Gallen has been pretty darn patient back there behind Hamilton, and I just don't know how much longer he's going to sit back there. He's really starting to look for places to go. Looking to the right, looking to the left, seeing if you can find some way around Hamilton's BMW.
But Hamilton is not falling for that, Bill. That showing your nose thing is a trick which a lot of drivers use to try and upset their opponent in front. Sometimes it works, and most times if you're an experienced driver and once you get to know the driver behind you, you know, oh, he's just showing his nose, nothing to worry about, because he's not really serious about making a move. But he's certainly there all the time, and Gary has to keep an eye on the mirrors constantly, because you can never be sure when Gallen won't be close enough to actually make a move on him. Going down into turn 1, that's just dips down so steeply. It's a lot steeper than it looks from outside the car. Inside the car, you can see the actual steepness of it. Gallen very close to Gary now, to Hamilton. Really looking like he wants to make the move. We haven't been watching this for long, so I'm not sure whether he's done this previously. They go out into turn number 4. Very, very tight turn there, left-hander.
All right, here we go.
Go up and down. Let's go. This is heading towards Hawthorne. Bill,
he's in the toe. Let's see if he's going to force the issue. I think, oh, nice. Very, very patient. As he was coming down in there into Hawthorne, he waited on it. Guess he thinks I can do it again later. I don't think there's any way to do it through there. I hate this section through Dingledale. This is just a nightmare for me. But these guys,
Bill, we are so different. I just love this part of the track. And that dip down into Sterling's, it's fantastic. I just love it, because in the little cars with low power, you can just push the car as hard as you want to through there.
Blake Neck
information.
He was in this battle. He was in the battle with Steve Carmichael. Blake Neck. He just got loose, though, right in front of David Miller. And
many cars with the same color scheme, Bill. Blake Neck looks like he's back on the track now, going up through turn 4 there. But the car does not look healthy.
Yeah, he bounced it into the tires. Luckily, the BMW is kind of tankish, so maybe it didn't point, but he really crumpled up the left side. Gives a nice view of those beautiful, beautiful yellow chromed wheels, though, with the fender punched in like that. But I don't think the car looks going to show off the wheel work, but it's not going to handle very well. Not a good race for Neck today. He's had a rough time of it.
Yeah. And at the moment, he's still trundling around there, car number 20, with that color scheme that we're seeing on quite a few of the cars, as we mentioned. But behind him, there's a car coming close, and that is, who is that? That's Jacob Crabb, by the looks of things. And Jacob is in a BMW, in an Audi. Looks like Blake Neck has headed into the pits there, Bill.
Well, the good news is that's probably in his window, so he can go in and get fuel. And I think he'd take tires because he's going to be in there for a while.
Trotsky?
Now we're looking at this battle. This is with our leader coming through. This is Kenny Rogers, the gambler. This is Steve Carmichael running in 19th position. Joshua Rogers has got around now and is sandwiched in between that back marker. He's going to get this done. But keep in mind that McLaren is in a battle for a position there with David Miller right behind him. The leader gets through.
Now, David Miller did such a good job in the last race. He's currently in 20th position on my timing and scoring, and he's following. This is
Not
David
for long.
Miller following Steve Carmichael. He's trying on the outside. Steve Carmichael going very defensive in that. Is that one of the McLarens that I'm looking at?
That's the McLaren, and Miller got his nose toasted there. Now let's see. Oh, he has a great run. Let's see if he pushes it into
Turn
Hawthorne.
Ooh, Miller, you're talking about? They're going down into turn number 1 here now. They're heading up towards Stewart. This is his opportunity if he can get level. But we've got the McLaren fighting for that position. He gives it up. Wise move there. Big stuck on the outside. You haven't got as much leverage as the guy on the inside. So he's given it up. But he'll come back. He's done a great job so far in that McLaren.
Yeah, I apologize. I said Hawthorne. I meant Paddock Benders. He's going into that first corner. Got it done into Druid, so up to 19th spot. Carmichael back to 20th. Both those cars, though, 1 lap down.
Paddock, Druids. Oh, Dave McKenzie. Looks like we've got a car off again. Dave McKenzie just bringing it back on. It looks like he had a self-spin as well, and he's got a bent wing.
Yeah, that was on his own. Again, that's into corner number 1. I wonder, it's getting kind of dirty out there. I wonder if the sand might be playing a factor here, especially with all these cars bringing that back in from the beach that's outside of Paddock Bend.
Also, a lot of rubber on the track, Bill. If you look from a high camera shot, you can see how dark the racing line is, which means that a lot of rubber's being laid down, and that, of course, is because the track is so grippy. There's a lot of rubber coming off the cars, and in some corners like that turn number 3 there, it's a quite a wide stretch of rubber, so that makes it slippery in places for these cars. And so a lot of guys suffering there, and we saw David McKenzie. He bent his wing, but he's still going. That's the good news.
Let's go to 21st position. This is Joe Petrosky here. The reason is, he does a good job. He's getting out of the way. This is that battle that we've been watching, and a nice job from Petrosky getting out of the way of Hamilton and Gallen. Gallen is still trying to figure out a way to get around Spiral Slice, but it's just not happening.
Yeah, there's a lot of little battles going on all over the place. That Carmichael battle that we saw previously, that's kind of petered out now. But the battle up front is no less serious at the moment with Hamilton and Hanlon and Gallen behind him. Gallen on Hamilton is the big one. That's the closest we've got at the moment.
Our leader now starting to have to battle some of this lap traffic. As we look at our number 1, as we look at our car, we're watching him right now. This is Rogers coming up. Very loose gun. He gets around O'Brien. Brian gives him Druid. He gets on the inside there. Next up is Brock Cadet. The leader should probably be able to get to him as they go through Pilgrim's Drop down that long straight. Probably get that done before they go into the right-hander there at Hawthorne
look for these
Bend.
guys to start thinking about pit lane. We are coming up to the 40-minute mark of this 90-minute race. 56 minutes on the clock remaining. So a bunch of the guys, and I'm seeing a battle there. That's Rod. Is it Rogers? No, that's passing a back.
That's Rogers. Yeah, they're getting around Cadet. So now there's only 16 cars on the lead lap. Rogers knocking them off one at a time. Next one up is Smith, but Smith is quite a ways away, so it'll be a while before he gets there. Smith running in 16th position. When will somebody bite the bullet and come in and make a stop?
Well, only stops that have happened so far have been forced pit stops. So we've had Brayton, Braden Bateman has come in, and he spent the best part of a minute in the pits there, and a short one from Petrovsky, but no scheduled pit stops that we can see. Joshua Rogers leading this race. He's got 7.8 seconds lead on his nearest rival. So he is a candidate for coming in, getting his pit stop done, and getting out there and having enough fuel to finish the race. But sometimes the strategy is I'll go as far as I can before I come in.
And quickly, we talked about the driver. How about 16th position real quick before he goes a lap down? Clint Shane Smith. He's your hard charger. He's up 14 spots. And I guess that's to be expected as he put in that horrible qualifying time. He had to start from the back of the pack. Making a good job of it, though. Still on the lead lap.
Yeah, he's doing a great job because he started dead last. So that would have been like 30th position for him. He's half that, as we see. There's nobody really around him at the moment. He's got a minute. He's got 4.6 seconds to his nearest rival, which is Mark Simon, up ahead of him. And but he's doing a great job. And let's see when he elects to. Let's see when anybody elects to come into the pits.
Okay, looks like we have somebody here. Well, you talked about Bateman coming in, but that's that one really not of one of our front runners.
Yeah.
I'm just
Looking
waiting
for battles here. There's a handy battle going on here with Matt Morris trying to chase down Martin Zilvasi, and the gap's about the same. It's been 0.8, 0.9 for quite a few laps now, so they're kind of holding station. But the guy in front, Zilvasi, can't afford to make any mistake, or Matt Morris will have his position, and that's in the top 10. So this is a good battle going on here.
We look at that one. I got something interesting. Let's go to second position right now because these guys are still battling. Now we're looking at Gary. This is Richard Hampstead running in second. Now he's coming up on this battle that we've seen before. This is a battle for 7th between Cadet and O'Brien. Now they got to try to do this battle and still let Hampstead get through. There he goes, Ham. He gets now through one, and now the battle splits up. He's going to have to wait a little bit here. I don't think he's going to be able to get him till they come around probably to the main straight. Nope.
Oh.
I got places to go.
Things to do. Get out of my way. And I tell you what, that is much tougher than it looked right there. And I want to tell you, it was pretty close as well. One mistake there and he could have ended his day, but the guys got out of the way for him. Richard Hampstead continues on. He's 8.4 seconds behind the leader, Joshua K. Rogers. And what he doesn't want to do is to give up any time at all to Simon Fagel, who's behind him in third place. I think that was what the hurry was all about. Because there's only a difference of 4 seconds or so, which sounds a lot, but it's not that much if you get a big slowdown from traffic in front of you.
What makes that so interesting is that battle for 17th. Oh, and now it looks like O'Brien makes a mistake. These guys are all having to deal with it. Fagel next has to go through it. This battle between Cadet and O'Brien was so tight that it's hard for these guys to get around. But now after that mistake, it settles down a little bit. Go back and check in on Hamilton and Gallen. And you know what I think is going to happen here, Rich, on this battle for 5th? I think Gallen's going to get him in the pits. If fuel consumption means anything, I think Hamilton's been out there doing all the work. I think Gallen's going to have a shorter stop.
Okay, well, let's go back now to Matt Morris in car number 66 in 10th place. He's half the distance now to Silvasi. He's 0.4 at the moment as they head towards Hawthorne Bend. So this is now a real battle. Morris can see his opponent. He knows that the battle, it's only about 0.3 now. So he's going to have a go in this next lap or so. Let's just stay with this one for a little bit because it's the best battle on track at the moment.
Passing has been at a real minimum here. It's been hard to see on-track passing. This battle here for 9th is really close. And then there's also a nice battle, we'll come into it a little bit later, for 11th is that one we were watching between Arturo Amro. We can stay on the one, though, for 9th right now. And Paul Lonergan.
And also keep an eye on Gallon, who's chasing down Gary Hamilton now. We've spoken about this one before. It's very close, 0.6 of a second, 0.5, 0.4 now as they go into turn number 4. That Gallon is pushing hard. We've seen him push hard before and not quite get alongside and try to pass. So he might be leaving it until after the pit stops. He just wants to keep in touch with Gary Hamilton all the time.
Those are the 3 battles that we're really watching there. That battle for 5th, the battle for 9th. We stay on that battle for 5th, that's fine. And now the other one back here for 11th, which is pretty darn close. This is between Arturo Amro and Paul Lonergan. And it's just, they battle rich, but the passes are so hard to make here.
Yeah, because some of these corners are the high-speed corners, particularly through that section there, Minter Straight, Westfield Bend, and so on. But look at Morris, he's very close now. They go into the left-hander there at Sterling's, and now they head down towards Clearways, which will finish off another lap. It's close, but you just spot on there, Bill. Not easy to just make the pass. You can get right up on the bumper, but then you've got to be brave enough to put your nose in and go for that pass.
My dad used to say it's like milking a rooster. The hard part starts after you catch him, and that's what's going on right here. Matt Morris trying to milk the rooster. That is Martin Slavasi.
Yes. And it's a tough call. And up ahead of them looks like, is that a slower car or is that for position? I think that's probably a slower car. Let's have a look. Yeah, Joel Petrovsky, that's a slower car. Well, is a car that's a lap down anyway. Bill, here's the question. When are they going to do pit stops? They are now down to 48 seconds left. Are they going to run all the fuel out? Looks like that's the current strategy.
I think it is, and it looks like I would think that somebody, one of those guys in the top 10, would have tried to take the road less traveled and tried something a little bit different, but I don't think they wanted to do it. I would think some of the guys that are back here right now that are having trouble milking the rooster might want to come in and do the pit stop and see if they can run some faster laps that way. I don't know why you would, somebody like, I don't want to go on the pit box, but somebody like Gallen, who is clearly faster than Hamilton, but can't get around him, maybe come in now, take the stop, run a few laps. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm with you, Bill. I think that those are thoughts that certainly would be going through my head. But on the other hand, 46 minutes completed, so they're about 15 minutes to the end of their fuel. So a lot of guys might be thinking, well, just run all the fuel out, and then I've got half an hour. I'm not going to take tires, so it doesn't matter when I come in for fuel.
Braden Bateman just had a spin. He did that on his own. Did that
and
right
like
in front of...
Darren Huxham as well was off track for a little while. They're both back on track now, so good on them for bringing it back on.
We are back.
Let's go and have a look at third place. We've seen Rogers, we've seen Hampstead, Fagel. We haven't had the cameras on him too much, and Hamlin for that matter, or Hanlon. So let's just have a look at third and fourth place. So big gap between them. But going forward to third place, which is Fagel, there's nothing in it for him. He's got 6 seconds behind the second place. So surely, Bill, he would be a candidate for an early stop.
Silvassi had a problem we're hearing. Oh, he's blinked out. That's too bad. The sliver was doing great. He was in that battle, and now he's out of it.
He was in the battle with, who was it? It was Matt Morris.
Let's go, here, I got another one. Let's go to 17th spot again. I know we've talked about these guys, but it's interesting here. This is Cadet O'Brien, and now David Miller has joined the mix as well. And why I'm bringing this up, because Zachary Hanlon, the fourth place driver, has got to lap these 3 cars that are battling for a spot. That's Cadet and the McLaren out in front. Then it's the Mercedes of O'Brien, and then another Mercedes of Miller. Now, we've seen Miller be fast. Miller had trouble, but the guy coming behind him who can't really waste much time is Zachary Hamlin running in 4th spot right now.
Yeah, nice little battle going on here. And the other battle that is really heating up is the Paul Lonergan. And now it's Arturo Amro that he's chasing. Only 0.2 between them.
Now Miller saw that Miller got the blue flag and said, okay, I'll come in and make the pit stop. So now here comes Hamlin up behind O'Brien. Hamlin takes it very wide. O'Brien does a good job of lifting. And now he comes up behind the McLaren of Cadet. Pick a spot, hold your line there, Brock. Brock does a good job. Apple fritters for all you guys. And what is nice about this is after the lead car goes through, then Cadet and O'Brien, in fact, O'Brien's going to make the move. He's been watching, he's going to take advantage of it as they are side by side. Cialis bathtubs now as they go down the main straight. Which car's going to have the more oomph there? Is it going to be the Audi or is it going to be the Mercedes? Looks like the Audi has the horsepower. I'm sorry, that's the McLaren, sorry. The McLaren rumbled that way back there.
Good pass there, and while you've been watching that, I'm still been watching this Lonergan here versus Arturo Amro. Lonergan gets very close, like within 0.2 of a second, but then he doesn't actually make any attempt to make the pass, so he is faking it at the moment, maybe just running his fuel out till they get to the pit stop. Bearing in mind that there'll be a half an hour's racing to do still after the pit stop, so a lot of the drivers are saving their stuff for the pit stop, I think. For after the pit stop, I should say.
Bring it in, Paul. Bring it in. Let's do it now.
Dear, oh dear. So, let's take a look at our top 10 once again. Joshua Rogers. He is leading this race. 8.9 seconds ahead of his nearest rival Richard Hampstead in second place. A further 7 seconds back is Simon Fagel. Then a further 10 seconds back Bill is Zachary Hamlin. Then Gary Hamilton another 7.5 seconds. So you're looking at 34 seconds covering the top 5. And then you get to the rest of them, which there are bigger gaps still between the rest of them.
And now we only have 13 cars on the lead lap as we look at Hamilton right there. Is this finally going to, are we finally going to get it? Is it finally going to happen? Nope.
51 minutes done, 43 minutes to go in this race. Of course, the clocks don't match up, Bill, because they do a pace lap. And the pace lap is calculated as elapsed time when, in fact, it's not part of the race time. Did you know that one?
I did. I kind of knew that one. I know this. I know we gave Luis Paulo Gallon a hard time last time at Road America for some maybe iffy blocking. Let's give him a tip of the hat for some serious patience right now. I cannot believe how long he's been behind Hamilton. Hamilton has just got to be... one of these days, something's going to happen here.
Well, we're talking about a Mercedes versus a BMW. And it looks as if they're pretty equal at the moment. Love the sound of that Mercedes, but you're quite right, Bill. Luis Gallon has shown all the patience in the world and is tried nothing but nothing funny at all. He's just racing immaculately. And so has Hamilton in front of him. They're going to come into the pits virtually side by side, I think. I think Gallon is watching to see when Hamilton wouldn't go into the pits and he's going to follow him in. That's my thought anyway.
Well, I think it might come down to a matter of gallons. Boy, I've made that joke twice now. But I think with a Gallon back there saving fuel, I would think maybe he might need a little less. Although I don't know how much lifting it is. It looks more like he's attacking and braking to me. So I don't know how much really fuel he is actually saving right now. Let's stay with it a minute. They're coming up on the back. Here they come again. This is this O'Brien battle now. Looks like O'Brien is all by himself, though. As these two leaders come up here, Hamilton's going to have to get around Brenton O'Brien, running in 16th position.
While that was happening, Brock Cadet had a big off. Heading into turn 4, they gathered it up, and he's going again. No need to go to that, but certainly he was way off track.
Oh my goodness, I hope. Oh boy, Gallon gets tipped, and he tried to go around the back marker. Oh, Brenton, I don't know if you did much wrong there. You tried to hold it as tight as you
collected by
could.
another car. Whoa, Bill, he just got collected by another car as well.
We're watching it now. I just don't know what more O'Brien could have done to keep the car on a tight inside line.
Watch for another car coming through.
Yeah. Now we're going to watch. This will give us a good angle from above. But I know we give Gallon a hard time, and this is really... I just can't blame the back marker here. The car's not invisible. It takes up... It has mass, or virtual mass. He has to put it somewhere. Looks like he keeps the car as tight as he could on the inside, and Gallon just crowds him.
Dear, oh dear. That's not what you want to see after an hour's racing, roughly.
So Gallon now loses. He falls back into 9th position now, and is being challenged. Oh, Morris has just got around him. That's too bad. That is just too bad.
Yeah, Bill, I don't like to see things like that. It's a tough break for Luis Paulo Gallon. So let's see. He should probably come into the pits now. Will he do that? Yes, it looks like it.
Let's take devil's advocate there to Gallon. Maybe O'Brien could have lifted and left him the apex. So I guess maybe that's what Gallon was maybe thinking. But usually if you're trying to make a pass and hoping that somebody's lifting, that's never probably a good way to think about it. That's a tough break, though.
Yeah, it is. It is a tough break. So we can see heavy damage on the left, on the right-hand front side of his car there. He's sitting quietly in the pits at the moment. It does take a long time for these cars to do a pit stop. So if he's got lots of damage to be repaired, he might as well take tires as well as fuel. Remains to be seen.
Well, what it does mean, though, is he's the first guy to come into pits if we want to count that. He's pitting from 8th, so don't count him out. And we're talking about Gallon, because he certainly had the pace. I don't think the car... Well, I didn't actually see. Did the car get a lot of damage from the second... Oh, yes, yeah. Yeah, he got... Yeah. Oh, that looks like he's gonna call it a day. Or at least step out for the repairs to take place.
Yeah, if it depends on how long the repairs are. There goes Arturo Amro. Arturo was in the pits. That was regulation 37.93. So that's what it looks like. It's about 38 seconds for a regulation pit stop in these cars, which is about right, Bill.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's from he pitted Arturo Amro. He pitted from about 15. Well, he's in 15th place right now. So he's really our first pit stopper, if you like.
Only 10 cars on the lead lap, but I think we could call Amro a lead lap car. He's only down because of the pit stop. I think there were about 13 cars that were legitimately on the lead lap before
Bill, let's have a look
started.
Let's just have a look at Clint Shainesmith. Now, I don't want to put the commentator's curse on Clint, but he's doing a great job. He's up now to, 12th place, and that's from 30th place.
He's your hard charger, up 18 spots. The next best would be O'Brien, who's up 8th. But, yeah. He's had a nice race back there. I believe he is legitimately a lap down, though. Right there, O'Brien has an issue.
Oh, a little bit of an off track. Just bring it back on and continue on. Just went farming a little bit there, no problem.
Going out in the English countryside. In an English garden waiting for the rain.
Okay, so all eyes have still been on our leader, Joshua Rogers. Bill, 57 minutes in the car at the moment. 36 minutes to go, so that makes it about 54 minutes they've been in the car. So they have to come in within the next 5 minutes or so, I would imagine.
There is not, I'm going through here, there is really not a battle for a position right now.
No, there isn't. Peter Lynn from 10th place in the pits. Looks like this is going to be a regulation pit stop, which is good to see. Gallon, we know, has been sitting there for quite a long time in his pit stall. But Peter Lynn, this looks like a regulation pit stop, and 38 seconds is what we're looking for. There comes Clint Smith in the pits as well from 12th place, sorry.
Looking at the last car on the lead lap, Paul Lonergan. And he's running all by himself.
I tell you what, Bill, one person who's breathing a sigh of relief here is Gary Hamilton. He can probably ease up a little now because didn't have a Gallon breathing down his tailpipe all the time.
That was a great battle. And Gallon, I think, was just waiting for Hamilton to make a mistake. And that's like waiting for a solar eclipse. You're not going to see a mistake from Gary Hamilton too often.
Yeah, it's tragic though. There was such a good battle. It was looking like it was going to carry on to the end of the race, which would have been absolutely great. But some guys have not.
And now we're back. You had a little audio problems. Let's look at 11th place if we could. This is a nice battle. We found one for position here. This is O'Brien. Now, I'm not sure about the pit strategy, if these guys are on the same cycle here. This is O'Brien in 11th, and then Groudon in 7th, and then in there is Amro in 12th.
Well, Amro is only 0.7 behind. He's chasing down O'Brien at this point in time.
And then getting in here is Shane Smith, who's already made his pit stop in 13th. So he's looking at these guys. So now that's one way to let him around. Brenton probably a little bit gun shy after what happened with Gallon, said, okay, I'll let these guys around. I'll give plenty of room.
Yeah.
So not only did he gave room, but he also lost 2 positions to Amro and Smith. Although, correct. I'm not sure about the pit cycle here. Has Amro pitted yet? He has. Yes, he has.
Yeah, Amro's done his pit stop.
In fact, he is the leader of all the cars who pitted.
That's right. Now, Smith, that's funny. That's a funny one, Bill, because Smith only spent 18 seconds in the pit. So the other one was 38 seconds. So what did Shane not do? Yeah. This is the question.
Well, oh my goodness, who was that going really slow? That was, get that car over there. That's Mazzamo. I guess he was letting cars by, but basically parked it. We don't want to do that.
Yeah, I think Arturo Amro did do the full pit stop. And looks as if Shane was true to his word. He did not take any tires. So if you don't take tires, that's about 19 seconds. Brock Cadet showing off track, back on again, no problem. Still looking for our leaders to come in. And I tell you what, it's getting time. Come on, guys.
Exactly, our director found that strategy. That's exactly what happened there. Shane's, we talked about Smith's in the box was in for 20 seconds. Amro was in for 40 seconds. That is your tires.
Yeah.
That'll do it. Now, what's interesting is Shane, remember, Smith is trying to make that climb up. He's probably naturally a faster driver right now, just put in that horrible qualifying time. So he continues to climb up, but now it gets a little harder for Smith because he gets to a little faster driver, and now that driver has 4 fresh tires.
Well, that's right, and he is following Arturo Amro exactly. That is the car in front of him, so he's only 0.4 behind Arturo at the moment, but Arturo has got fresher tires.
8 cars still on the lead lap. The top 10 cars have not taken their pit stop yet.
Oh yeah, the top 10 have not stopped at all. So the tanks are going to be running pretty low at the moment. They've done an hour. Well, close to an hour, 59 minutes in the car at the moment, Bill.
Absolutely, and this, just a great run. Sometimes when you have a guy out there in front, but Joshua Rogers just having a great race. I think what he's trying to do, I think he wants this thing wire to wire. He wants to be the last car to stop. He wants that car number 92 when you go to the iRacing chart. He wants to see 92 on that top row all the way across.
Well, he's doing a fantastic job of it at the moment. and still doing quite creditable lap times. Here he comes. Here he comes. So he is the first one to blink.
Now, his teammate stays out.
18 seconds or 38 seconds? What's it going to be?
Oh, I can't imagine he can afford to take tires right now. He's got to make it a quick one. I mean, there's not much rate. If you took tires, you wouldn't have much time to take advantage of them. So he's in there right now. He's on about 14 seconds, 15. He should be rolling right about now. I said right about now. There we go.
Yes, and you are 100% correct. He is coming out, and his pit stop time was 21.02 seconds in his pit stop. So a great stop from him. Obviously no tires, and he's back out there, coming out in what looks like 5th place at the moment. No, I lie. That's 4th place for him.
And we hear that Hamilton has
and Groden
made his move. Yeah, I think if you were going to take tires, you would have done a pit stop somewhere in the middle. It does make a lot of sense to run so long because you just don't get the benefit of them, or even do the quick stop. Now look at this. Hamilton is out first.
21.27 seconds. So no tires for Hamilton. That's about the right 20.4 seconds for Nathan Groden. So again, the strategy is working 100%, or our timing is working 100%, because we certainly seeing guys not taking. Here comes Fagel into the pits from 2nd place at the moment. Let's see where he will come out in relation to Rogers. He should be well behind Rogers even if he does exactly the same thing. There's Hanlon in as well.
Yeah, Rogers is coming around the final corner. Now this is interesting. Fagel missed a stall, so this could cost him some time. He wasn't that far ahead of the guys he was chasing. We'll go ahead and look for it. Hanlon is in right now. Let's go ahead and see who gets out of here. These are 2 cars that are both painted the same. Hanlon is the car behind. Fagel is the car in front. Fagel is out first. Hanlon, even with missing the stall, Hanlon's not going to be able to get out.
Yep, and Fagel regulation there, 20.25 seconds, about a second and a half slower for Hanlon. So now all eyes on Richard Hampstead. Richard must be trying to do his calculations in his head. Can I take only, how much fuel do I need? I've got to be exact with my fuel.
He's praying for an earthquake. He's praying for an iRacing, some type of glitch to this race to stop, and it called official right now, but it's not going to happen. He's got to come in, and that means Rogers now working his way through Dingledale, coming around Sterling Bend.
And whilst that's happening, Gallen has come back out. So Gallen has got some repairs done. Let's see, how long did Gallen stay in there?
Roger around the Clark curve right now. Hampstead still sitting there. Hampstead rolling. Rogers gets it now. The question is, where's your next car? I think he's going to get him.
5 seconds plus. Now that's a smaller gap than it was to start with. He was in there for 18.62 seconds. You can understand that because he did the extra lap. There is Hackerson coming in now as well.
Fagel gets third. Hackerson falling positions. We'll see who maybe he has a chance to get out in front of. Maybe we can put the camera on Paul Lonerin running in 8th position right now. This might be somebody Hackerson could maybe get out in front. Lonerin just going past pit entrance. Hackerson is coming out, and we're seeing Lonerin. Now this is Lonerin coming right up behind him. And I think Lonerin has made his stop.
No. Lonergan hasn't made a stop, and neither has Matt Morris.
So the last 2 guys, sure enough. Yep, Lonerin and Morris. Morris running up in 4th position right now.
Yeah, that'll drop. He should drop a lot further back once he starts coming into the pits, because he was in like about 8th or 9th position, I want to say. So looks like those will be the last two. There's one other that hasn't made a pit stop yet, Brenton O'Brien, but when he does come into the pits, he's going to go another lap down, I think.
But I do have news to report on. Let's go to 11th position. We didn't catch it on screen, but sure enough. Oh, we have some. Look at this on screen. That was Steve Carmichael, I think. Just in front of Brenton O'Brien. My gosh, he's been a magnet for things to happen. Look at this. Maybe this might be fun to go on board with that white car from behind if we have time to look at it.
Matt Morris spins it coming out of turn 1.
Now, we'll get to that when we're going to ride on board with O'Brien. Again, put yourself in his helmet. You make the call. Which way do you go with that McLaren spinach? Nice job there as O'Brien gets around. Now we'll see if we can pick up Morris. Another McLaren had trouble.
Yeah, just a self spin there coming out of coming out of turn 1.
This is a tank slapper. It was going left. It was going right.
Yeah, no harm done. He kept it off the walls, but he's lost a lot of time. And remember, he hasn't made his pit stop yet. So he was going for that extra lap, which he thought might save him some time, but he's lost time actually now.
And Richard, you did report that Luis Paulo Gallen is back out. He's running in 25th position, 8 laps down.
That is correct. And good on him for coming
absolutely.
back out. He's not going to get a great position, but that's what it's all about. You finish the race. In fact, there's one league that I know that insists that drivers not exit out of the race if they can drive at all. And I think that's a good rule to have in your league.
Well, through the first 2 races, I would say that Gallen has been the star of the show. He has been the entertainment. He is a fun driver to watch.
And Morris is now finally into the pits. If I were him, I'd take some tires, because obviously his tires are not working too well. So, Bill, most of the pit stops now, we'll just find out what Matt Morris's position will be when he comes out. But our leader is Joshua Rogers, leading by 6.2 seconds. Now, I remember that gap was up to like 8 or 9 seconds previously. So, Richard Hampstead has made up a little time. He's in 2nd place. Simon Fagel in 3rd place. He's 24 seconds back from the leader. And then Zachary Hanlon and Gary Hamilton are in 4th and 5th places.
We look at 13th position, Brenton O'Brien. I'm showing that he has yet to make a stop. Is that what your timing and scoring?
Yeah, I see that as well. But he spent so much time on the grass that he saved a lot of fuel there, Bill.
Well, he has 1 lap down, so I guess that's 1 lap that he hasn't had to go. But that was nasty. That was kind of mean
to Brenton O'Brien. But he certainly and you know, I just had a look at the. Matt Morris's time, he was only in there for 14 and a half seconds. So what's happened is by staying out that long, he's had to put in the least amount of fuel, and he's come out in 8th position. One wonders, without that spin, he could have possibly have had 7th.
Well, Brian continues to stay out. I'm going to work my way through some of these other cars here and see if we can pick up any type of battle. Smith is about 1.8 seconds ahead of Amro, but Smith is stretching that gap.
Well, remember he was chasing Amro.
I got one for you.
Caught and passed him.
14th position. Am I looking at one? Nope, I guess I'm not. I thought I was looking at one, but I'm not.
Okay, 1.7 seconds between Joel Petrovsky and Mark Simon. 1.6 now.
So we're not supposed to play favorites, but right now I'm going to pull for Joel to get a little bit something to watch here. So Petrosky, if you could pick up the pace a little bit, get in there, give us a battle for 14th. Right now they are chasing Steve Carmichael, who's a lap down ahead of him.
No. It's his rival. Maybe Carmichael's in between, but his rival is actually Mark Simon that he's trying to chase down.
Well, no, yeah, but Carmichael right now is on track, is ahead of Simon, holding Simon up, maybe. So Simon would like to get around him because Petrosky is coming. 1.5 seconds.
Yes, so he can put the car of Carmichael in between the two, in between himself and of course the following car of indeed Joel Petrovsky. But we have, let's see, we've got Mercedes versus Mercedes, so they should be fairly equal on pace. It's not going to be easy to catch and pass here.
1.3 seconds, 1.2 seconds. Petrovsky is
Okay.
coming.
Interesting. So now Mark Simon must definitely be thinking, oh, I've got to pass this car in front of me. Is he being held up a little by that slower car, you think? Brock Cadet spending some time on the sidelines here by the looks of things. A lot of time on the sidelines. Facing the wrong way as well. Maybe we'll get a replay of that.
Brock bled his
Cadet.
own blood here. Did the McLaren spun it himself. Didn't hit anything though. Just put in the
Backed it
English
into the
alfalfa.
tires just ever so gently. How's our battle? Petrovsky 0.5. Okay, it's
He's
on.
coming. So what you're looking at, you have the McLaren out in front, that's Carmichael, but he's really not part of this battle, although he is playing a factor. Then running in 14th is Mark Simon. These guys are one lap down, being chased by Joel Petrovsky in the white car.
And of course the reason we're on this is because it is a genuine battle for position. Very little in the way of battle for position going on anywhere else on track at the moment. But Petrovsky now heading down into turn 1. Remember, they've got a car that is a lap car in front of them. They go into the hairpin, now do it hairpin, and the lap car gets out of the way. What great driving there, Bill. That's one.
Yep.
When you invite him to the back markets United meeting, make
Apple
sure you
fritter.
give him apple fritter and the other thing that you normally give.
We used to get bear claws, but we've upgraded now. There was more apple fritters was the popular choice. So.
Well, at least you can eat that. You can't eat the beer claw.
No, the bear. That's a donut. It's not a real bear claw. Don't they have bear claws in Australia?
No,
It's a pastry. Okay. Well, since most of our audience is from Australia, I guess Richard did a good job there. Clarify that.
well, I thought it was some sort of symbol that
No,
you gave
no,
out.
it's
a bear, okay, a bear
it's a-
claw, righto. Thank you for educating me.
Do they have donuts in Australia?
Yeah, we have donuts,
Okay,
but
it's
we
a
don't call
donut.
them
All right.
bear
All right,
claws,
well.
for goodness sake. Oh, yes.
Oh no!
Go ahead, Bill. I
Well,
don't want to say.
Mark Simon. That's too bad. He had a nice run. I think he might have lost. No, he didn't lose another position. Only the one that he was racing in. So Petrovsky gets that up to 13th.
And Petrovsky really didn't have to battle for that position, so be pretty happy about that. Mark Simon falls back about 3.5 seconds, 3.6 seconds, so not too bad, but just lost it going into that left-hander there. And Brock Cadet still off the track, or again off the track?
Boy, but the McLaren just won't hit anything. He saves it before he does a good job of spinning that car without putting it into the tires.
Okay, Bill, job for you. Send me a picture of a bear claw. I gotta see one of these now.
They're tasty.
Okay, and now you've gone to apple fritters. Okay.
Yeah, we raised the dues, so we could afford the fritters there.
Well,
No real battle out here right now. Go ahead, Rich.
No battles. And we still have 17 minutes to go in this race. Rogers leading by 5.8 seconds. That gap is coming down a little, Bill. I mean, I'm not going to say that Hampstead's going to catch him, but from 9 seconds before the pit stop, or 8.5 seconds or something like that, now down to 5.8 seconds. So looks like either Rogers is easing up or Richard Hampstead's putting everything he's got into it.
I think Rogers and Hampstead, what they're looking at is maybe trying to set up a team photo there as they cross the start-finish line.
Yeah, you got to be careful. You got to make sure that you're just a little bit ahead of the car that you want to set up the photo with. Otherwise, you lose the race. This is a good race. It's I don't think it has the same excitement level that we saw at
It doesn't.
Road America, But good workman-like performance from a lot of the top guys here, Bill.
I wonder if Road America was maybe more of a draft track that maybe it kept
Yes.
the guys together. This is more of a technical track where talent plays a bigger factor.
Yes, indeed. Absolutely.
Let's go ahead and look at some of our biggest movers. Clint Shane Smith up 19 spots, running in 11th position. Another driver's up, a lot of drivers up 7 spots. Carmichael, Petrowski, O'Brien, and Scully all 7 spots up. Well, this is where we get to the point in a GSRC broadcast where I bring this up. You don't want to go away because you're not sure if the drivers took enough fuel. You never know if they took enough when they were in there looking for some of those guys who had a real short stop.
Well, you know what? I've been looking down the list here of times, and I'm looking for the smallest gap. And the smallest gap that I can see is 2.5 seconds between David Miller and Brenton O'Brien. And that's 1.6 seconds now. So we know that Brenton's had his share of trouble. So David Miller, one would think, would be able to make up at least one more spot. He's down in 16th place, 1.4 seconds now, the gap between himself and Brenton O'Brien in 15th place. So David Miller perhaps getting a top 15 if he can pass Brenton O'Brien.
Looking at some of the guys who took really short stops. Matt Morris, currently running in 8th position, was in there for 6.5 seconds. You have to maybe start to wonder a little bit about him. That's awfully quick.
No, that's something wrong with your timing and scoring there. Matt Morris was in his pit stall for 14.33 seconds.
Okay, so we're looking at a different... You know what? That's exactly right. I'm looking at the wrong column. That's what happens when you try to...
gap.
Yeah, that's what happens when you do it gets to about 2 in the morning.
Yeah. I don't blame you, not at all. You've done a fantastic job just being around for this race. You know, I don't mind 4 a.m. in the morning or 5 a.m. Bill, but 2 a.m. that's when I want to go to bed.
Well, I can't go to bed too much because you want to join us for GSRC in a few hours because we're going to be covering something really unique tomorrow, and that is the MX-5 World Tour Demo Derby. If you want to see something fun, check that one out. Oh, we have a spinner out there on the track.
Yeah, 19th place, Steve Carmichael.
Another McLaren. Boy, those McLarens are just... Maybe
Very
the
twitchy
tires,
cars.
maybe they've used up their tires, or they're just not... They've spent as much time on the green as they have on the gray.
Yeah, McLarens are very fast cars in the right hands, but I found them to be very twitchy cars. I tried a very abortive attempt. These guys are great drivers compared to me in these cars, Bill, because I tried an abortive attempt to drive the McLaren at the Daytona 24-hour race a couple of years ago. Put it in the wall after 2 laps. My teammates were not happy with me.
Well, you want to join us in 2 weeks because we have a unique format in 2 weeks. Round number 3, it's a double header. It's an opening race at Lime Rock, and then they go to Silverstone. 2 races on the same night. They combine the points. There's only going to be one winner. It's the best score for all the points combined. But they have to choose their car and stick with it. So the car you choose for Lime Rock might not be the car you would want at Silverstone. We're looking at this battle for 15th right now on the screen. And that is Brenton O'Brien again having a great race. Miller gets by him.
Yeah, David Miller, as we thought he might pick that spot up. And so Miller moves into the top 15. And Brenton O'Brien now shuffled back to 16th place. He's been passed. I don't think he'll make up that time again. Now, looking up, let's see. Ooh, Braitman.
Brandon Braitman spins right in front of Paul Lonergan, who was running in 9th. Gets it out. He was running in 20th position. I don't think he's in jeopardy of losing any spots. And you know, Richard, we're sitting here talking like everything's all done, but one of these spins that happens in front of the leader, they're not home free yet.
Absolutely. We have seen in many a race where it goes right down to the last lap, and the leader, a comfortable lead of maybe 2 or 3 seconds, throws it all away, either by self-spinning or hitting a wall or something, or getting taken out by a slower car that he was attempting to pass. So anything can happen, and usually does. And at this stage, we still have more than 10 minutes of racing to go in this race. And Rogers, one would think that he's got everything sewn up, but he's got to negotiate. 10 laps, you're looking at the best part of 10 minutes, sorry, you're looking at about 8 or 9 laps to go still before he sees the white flag.
Well, the good news for Rogers is there's no McLarens directly in front of him. He's got a Mercedes to get around. He's got a BMW, and then if he gets there, he's got Brock Cadet's McLaren, and that'll be exciting.
Now, sadly, Louis Gallon is back in the pits again, so he might call it a day this time. He's spent a very long time in the pits before getting repairs done, and it looks like he's back in there, and car is not moving at this point in time.
I think he's probably in that magic sweet spot there. He's 5 laps behind of catching anybody and 6 laps ahead of anyone getting around him. So I think he's pretty secure in 24th. I believe that pays down to 24. All these are points. So whatever you make up, there's a big difference between 24 and 25 when you get down to the end of the season and you find yourself a point behind the leader.
Yep, that is correct. And so we can see that the folks that have actually fallen out of this race, we know that Kogimiya did not start, and so Riley Blythe, Philip Morton, Jeffrey Price, not sure whether he started, and Blake Neck. These are the guys that have fallen out of the race and decided not to continue. So not that many have fallen out, Bill. The rest of them have either struggled on. And, you know, I was just thinking about Gallon there, and looks as if Gallon is back out there again. There's $1,000 in it for the winner of the series. So why wouldn't you stay in it as long as you can and do everything you can to stay on the leaderboard?
Well, let's look at 25th position right now. This is Darren McKenzie. He's got to hustle. He's got just over 8 minutes to see if he can get around this track 4 times, because if he can do that, then he'll pick up a spot on Luis Paulo Gallon, who's still in the pits right now. So get to it, Darren. Although it is a McLaren, and that back wing looks like it's been crumpled up a bit.
Axman off track. Turn 3, bringing it back on again. But looks like he's got some damage.
Watch this. This Mercedes just gets on the green stuff and it just won't stop. And there goes the tires. I think the Mercedes, is that a front engine car? I don't know. Or is that a mid engine car? I think that's a front engine car. Yeah. So maybe that damaged that engine a little bit. I know that the Audi, sometimes you can bang up the bonnet of the car and it still will run for you a little bit.
Well, Bill, you know, out of
like
30
that, I said bonnet. You like that, Richard? See,
I love the word
I thought
bonnet.
you would appreciate that.
Bonnet may sound a little bit like, you know, something you put on your head, but bonnet is the appropriate name for what you guys call the hood. Under the hood.
I'm getting into the spirit of the Australian here, right?
Well, you do a pretty decent Australian accent for about 3 or 4 words at the end of your broadcast there,
That's right.
Bill. So yeah,
I've worked hard on it. Stick around for that. If you don't pay attention to the end, you want to stick with it. Go ahead, Rich.
24 cars still racing out of 30. I think that in itself is a good statistic. And, you know, people have had their problems. The difference between P1 and the last person still in the race is 16 laps. However, Joshua Haddon is out there. Good on him for actually staying out there, even though he's 16 laps down. Okay, let's go to Clint Smith. Looks like there's 1 second between himself and Jason Scully. Could he possibly get another position?
Goodness. I think he's got a real shot at this. You know, I looked at that gap earlier, and I just said, I don't think there's any way that Shane's going to get there.
Well,
so
he's got 5 minutes, so about 3 laps or so before the end of this race. Can he do it? I think he can. He's done a fantastic job, Clint.
I think he's going to be very pleased with his result.
But this is also the time when your stuff is not working as good as it was at the beginning of the race. He's just got to be careful when he does go to make the pass. There's no doubt he's going to catch. Who is he chasing there? Clint Smith. He's chasing Jason Scully. So he's got every opportunity. He's coming up on the back of him now. When he does go to make the pass, choose carefully, Clint, that the spot where you make the pass. Don't try it in an awkward place, because you don't want to throw it all away right now as they go down into the left hand, and now they'll head down towards Clearways once again. And not many laps, 4 minutes left in this race. Here's your opportunity to get a good launch out of Clearways. You can make the pass on the way to turn number 1. Can he do it? I'll leave it up to you to call that, Bill.
We'll stay on it right now. Look at the defensive line there a little bit. Oh, I think it's just a matter of time, and he has plenty of time with 4 minutes to do it. A couple more opportunities around this track. Going to look on the outside of Druid. Now he's going to try to do a little dipsy-do. You put your right tire in, you put your right tire out, you put your right tire in. Hopefully you don't turn around, though, as he's trying to get after Scully. Do they have the hokey pokey in Australia?
No, but remember,
Right.
Scully is part of the X-Files, so this could be dangerous.
All right, here we go. As they work their way down this long straight. Now, this is an opportunity if he wants to duck into the right.
Look at Scully. Scully is driving down the center of the track. There's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that, making your car as wide as possible. But it looks as if Clint is just choosing the wrong line on the outside. You want to try and dive into the inside, Clint. Come on. And now they head down. This is dangerous, Bill. Very dangerous.
They got the 4th place car of Hanlon coming up behind him, but I think Hanlon just needs to cool his jets a minute and let this thing settle down. This is a good opportunity as for talk about defensive lines here. Let's see what Scully does. What he did on that last time was he took the middle, but he held it in the middle. Let's see what he does right down here. Wouldn't be surprised if he takes the inside. Now, he's right there. Now he just kind of holds that line, and he's going to force Smith to go around the outside. That's how you take a defensive line. Smith kind of get the power done, and is getting closed the door. Queen Elsa at her coronation. No. Yes. No. Yes. And he does it. Woo.
Tell you what, if there was any net code involved there would have been an accident. He was Jason Scully was that close, but I think he got it done. And Jason on the microphone there, being passed, of course, by one of the faster cars, being lapped by one of the faster cars. And now that seals it, because now he's got a faster car in between. And that, of course, is Zachary Hanlon. And Zachary is in 4th place. So 4th place is just lapped. That was, who was that? Scully. So that was 11th place. That 4th place just lapped.
Oh, I got big news. Go to 24th position. Darren McKenzie. He's now up to 24th. He has passed Luis Paulo Gallon, who was still in the pits. Good job, Darren. You were able to get that done. What do you say, Richard? We follow the commentator's rule book and put the camera on our leader here a little bit. Joshua Kenneth Rogers. It wasn't wire to wire. He lost a little bit during the pit stops there. He wasn't the leader the whole way. But pretty much, it's been all him today.
And you have to say that is a commanding performance. There's no doubt about it. Joshua Rogers took the lead early on in the race and was never ever headed at all by any of the cars. Yes, in the pits at one stage there were the cars that took over first position while he was in his pit stop, but he's come back out and come took possession of first place once again, 7.1 seconds over Richard Hampstead. Fantastic, commanding performance from Joshua Kenny Rogers.
Fastest in the pre-qualifying, fastest in practice, fastest in the actual qualifying, fastest lap of the race, and in front. That's how
Yes.
you dominate.
That is called domination. 1 minute 21.906 seconds was his fastest lap here. He's still turning laps of 123, low 23s. His partner or friend Richard Hampstead, same paint scheme. Not that much slower at the moment, but not in the same class. Just handling everything, traffic, the track, the pit stops, as well as Joshua Rogers has done. Simon Fagel is 31 seconds back from the lead. Fantastic race from him as well to be in third place there, Bill. And how about Zachary Hanlon and Gary Hamilton? Those are the other two in the top 5. They're 48 seconds back. We've got a white flag, Bill, so I'm going to hand it back to you. This is not the
Round
final
number
lap.
2 at the round number 2
Yeah,
of the iRacing Drivers Association GT3 Championship goes to Joshua K. Rogers. Nice job from him. Second position going to go to his teammate Richard Greeneggs and Hampstead.
And I am looking at 5th place, Bill, and 5th place is just at turn number 3 on the last lap. So they've got a long way to go, virtually a full lap before they finish, and that's 5th place. If you go all the way back to some of the other guys, it'll be a whole lap. In fact, some of them will have been lapped and would not have to do the last lap.
Simon Fagel comes across the line in third position, just ahead of his teammate, Zachary Hanlon, working his way around that final corner right now. Going to go around
Nice
another
job,
teammate
guys.
there, getting out of the way. Look at that. Oh, this is a little team photo here. This is Clint Shane Smith and Zach and Hanlon coming across the line. They are separated by several laps, well, by one lap, but that works. Here comes the BMW of Gary Spiral Slice Hamilton, a quiet 5th place finish for him. He was challenged by Gallon, and once Gallon left the scene, it was pretty much all the way home. And the last car on the lead lap, Benjamin Haxton, a very quiet 6th place for him. All right, that's all the cars wrapping up their race. This is the Global Sim Racing Channel. We'll take a short break. We'll come back for driver interviews, run down the entire standings, and close up shop. Back in a few. Global Sim Racing Channel's coverage of the iRacing Drivers Association GT3 Championship, round number 2 from Brands Hatch, and we had a nice one. Joshua Kenneth Rogers brought the Gambler. Really didn't have to risk much as he was the dominant car for most of the race. His teammate Richard Hampstead came home in second. A pair of teammates behind him, Simon Fagel and Zachary Hanlon, went 3 and 4. Gary Hamilton rounded out the top 5. Very quiet 6th place from Benjamin Hackison. Good race from him. Nathan Groden, Matt Morris, and Paul Lundgren were in the next spots as they went 7th, 8th, 9th, and rounding out your top 10. He got there. He started 30th. He made up 20 spots. It was the new Papa, Clint Shane Smith, in 10th. Richard?
Yeah, well done, Clint. Jason Scully finished in 11th place. That was an overtaking maneuver by Clint Smith late in the race on Jason Scully. Arturo Amaro finished this race and finished off in 12th position. Joel Petrovsky, we saw him do an overtaking maneuver sort of towards the end of the race in 13th position. David Miller in 14th. Mark Simon 15th. Brenton O'Brien spent a lot of time off track but finished the race in a very creditable 16th place, 2 laps down. Then we had Martin Silvasi, 2 laps down in 17th place, and Brock Caday, 18th place, 3 laps down. Jason Crabb Steve Carmichael in 19th place, 3 laps down. And 20th place, Jacob Crabb, 4 laps down. Bill?
Hitting blackjack, it's Simon Mezzomo. Darren Huxham was in 22nd position. 23rd and 24th was Braden Bateman and Darren McKenzie. Joshua Hayden got the quarter-century mark. Luis Paulo Gallan, boy, he was fun to watch. 26th position, that was a shame. Peter Lynn in 27th. Blake Nick, I really had expectations for him after what I saw at Road America. Very disappointing from the pundits' point of view. Let's see what he can do next time in our doubleheader coming up. He got 28th position. Another one, Riley Brythe, would have thought more out of him. Philip Salty Morden in 30th position as well. Then the 2 non-starters, Kugimia and Price. Okay, let's see if we can do an interview here. Richard, who would you like to do? Why don't you let you talk to our race winner here? We'll bring in the Gambler.
All right.
There you go.
Joshua Rogers. Got a copy?
Yep.
Joshua, congratulations. A very workmanlike win for you in this race. Basically took the race by the scruff of the neck virtually from lap 1 and held your lead all the way through. Never threatened really by anybody. During the pit stops, others tried some strategies with later stops than you. Didn't work for them. You came out back in first place again. Your race went exactly according to plan. Am I right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I couldn't have faulted anything. The car, the strategy, everything really went to plan and worked out really well. Obviously, I think at least myself and Hammer being in the same channel, we were talking about things, and my fuel burn was heaps worse. So I knew full well that he was going to catch me in the pit stop, just because he had to take about probably 7 litres less, which is a big difference in the grand scheme of things. But overall it was still a good race, fairly exciting, I guess, coming through the traffic and whatnot. So yeah, it was good.
Yeah, very good win. You were fastest in the pre-race practice, in the qualifying, and of course in the race as well. Set the fastest time in all of those events. So good on you. Not too much more we can really say. Just a great win. So go ahead and give a shout out to anyone you wish to do so for, and we will let you go and celebrate.
Yeah, cheers, boys. Just a huge thanks to Richard for his help this week. Same with Sam Sutton for doing the strategy for us too, as well as Hyperstimulator, our sponsor. They take care of us, all the boys at TTL, and do a great job. Cheers.
Okay, thank you very much, and congratulations once again. A very, very good first place. Back to you, Bill.
Okay, I'll go ahead and talk to our second place finisher today, and that is Richard Green Eggs and Hampstead. Richard, congratulations on the second place. It's nice to have a partner, but does he have to be so fast?
Yeah, no, it's happy with the result. Definitely a great team result for us this race. We knew coming in here we've had a pretty good set around this track for a while. So we were hopeful that we'd have a good run. You never know. There's always there's some great drivers in this series. So but we're happy how it turned out. And yeah, you're right. It's a shame he's so good, but. What can you do? At the same time, I've got to, pick up my game to try to beat him.
So what was the difference between this week, where clearly you had this place wired, and Road America, where you seem to be, for you, a little bit off your game? Is it just you didn't like the track, or the car felt better, or just luck?
Couple of things. There's all sorts of factors that go into being, competitive in this kind of series. I hadn't really driven the GT3s for a few months. Hadn't driven the GT3s for a few months. I was driving the Audi, which I've never really raced before, as compared to the Merc, which I'm much more comfortable in. Didn't really have a set, sort of raced on baseline Road America. We have a very good set here, which we developed for the Pro Series last year. What else?
Let's look ahead a bit. Let's leave from last time. Let's look ahead. Have you given any thought to this doubleheader coming up? It's one car for Lime Rock and Silverstone. Do you have any idea what you might do there?
I'd say I'd probably stick with the Mercedes. I think we've got a pretty good bank of setups in that car now. We've been working with it for a year, so I think that's the clever way to go.
Okay, well, good luck at that. Nice job here today, so congratulations. It's going to help you in the points, and good luck the rest of the way.
Cheers, guys. See you in 2 weeks' time.
All right, Richard Hampstead, your second-place finisher today. Who would you like to talk to, Rich?
Well, we've got third place getter Simon Fagel there as well. Let's have a chat.
There you go.
Hello, Simon. Have you got a copy?
We do.
Simon, congratulations, first of all, on a well-deserved third place. And it seemed like this race was not like Road America. First of all, the track was very grippy. But you had two guys in front of you that were uncatchable almost.
Yeah, no, absolutely. TTL, or TTL I should say, were really, really strong in the Blancpain qualifier here in the Mercedes. So my usual car is the Audi. So, I wanted to try a different car. I'd never driven the BMW before this week. Oh, very little before this week. So jumped in that car, and it was good opportunity to kind of play around with it and get it going. But I didn't have an answer for those top two. I did think that maybe if it was warmer conditions, it would have played more into the BMW for tyre wear. But in actual fact, in the cooler conditions, my tyres went off really poorly. So it was probably just a case of learning the car. But no, Josh and Richard were really on top form tonight.
Yeah, well, that's third place here. Where did you finish at Road America? I think it was third or fourth anyway. So that puts you right up in the points there anyway.
Yeah, finished fourth in Road America, and I think the top three went here tonight from Road America, or didn't place very well. So, probably put me close to the top, if not the top, I would say.
Very good. So, Simon, now in 2 weeks' time, we have a double header. I believe it's Lime Rock and then Silverstone, two completely different tracks. And did I hear you right, Bill? We're going to use the same car?
You have to pick one car for each, or one car for both tracks, yeah.
All right, so how do you feel about that event coming up?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm not sure if I'm too much of a fan of it myself, but it is what it is. So we'll see. I'll probably end up, I don't know, probably end up going back with the car that I know the most, the Audi. But who knows? We'll see. I know it works well at Silverstone. We had a good setup there and it did really well in the qualifiers there. So may end up with that. But at Lime Rock, I imagine it's probably quite different for that car.
Oh, yeah. Well, look, you're doing very well in the series so far. This is race number 2. It's a very long year. I mean, the series goes all the way through. I think there's, how many rounds are there? 17 or something rounds in the series. So it's a long series. Good prize money at the end. Are you planning to stick with the series for the rest of it?
I plan to do as much as I can. I do have a long European trip planned in the middle of the year, so I will miss some rounds, which is a shame, but it is what it is. So I've got to try and make hay while the sun's shining, and do well early and late. But no, it should be good. It's a great series. It's a really, really good series. I finished third last year, so I'm hoping to do a bit better this year and go a bit further.
All right. Well done on this third place. It's difficult. This is a difficult track, but even though the weather was good for you guys today, it's still a good job to just finish, because only 6 people finished on the lead lap, which is quite a feat, because you're one of those 6.
Yeah, it's quite a difficult track. Brands is not my favourite track, and I usually go pretty ordinary at it. I didn't do very well in the qualifiers as well. So my teammate did. So he drove most of the laps when we did the 90-minute race then. So actually quite pleased, to be honest, to finish third, given that I think I'm pretty average around here. So but looking forward to seeing the back of this with a third. Happy with that. And I know the Logitech BMW did great. So we'll see what happens next round.
Okay, sir. Now, thank you for talking to us. Do you have any shout-outs for anyone?
Well, big shout-out for the team, Evolution Racing Australia. We had, many of us were driving the BMW for the first time. We know very little about it, aside from the fact that it's poor on fuel and light, and not the greatest down the straight either.
Hang on.
We knew a little bit about it.
Hang on a second. Now it's coming back to me. You were in the Daytona race, racing one of the ERA cars with guys like Sonny Canton and that in your team.
We had one of our guys win the Raw before the 24, and then we also had 3 cars actually. 2 cars. No, it was 3 cars. Let me get that right. 2 cars,
yeah, 228 and 229, if I remember correctly. You had ran the DPs.
Yeah, we had two DPs, and I was in the GT3. But unfortunately, we qualified well in the GT3, but had an incident with Dave Geelink fairly early on, and that kind of put pay to our race and his, unfortunately for both of us. But it was good. The Daytona would have liked to have done a bit better there, but we'll be there for the next iRacing event, like we always are.
All right, my friend. Look, we spent a fair amount of time in this conversation. It's been great talking to you. Congratulations on your third place. We will see you at Lime Rock Park, or whichever is the first race there, in a couple of weeks' time.
We will indeed. I look forward to it. Thanks for that. Thanks for the broadcast, guys. That's really good.
No worries. Back to you, Bill.
Simon Fagel, your third place finisher today. Nice run from him. That wraps up our podium. We're not going to talk to Shane because we're running a little bit late. We want to talk to Shane there a minute. He had a great race running from 30th to 10th. We'll talk to him more in the future races. Hey, we'd like to thank everyone at the iRacing Driver Association for organizing this series and contracting with GSRC to broadcast it. If you're an iRacer and you'd like to be part of the action and you have a chance for all of those prizes, if you get in here, go visit the IDA. They're still accepting applications at the private league forum in iRacing. Also, make sure that you visit the guys at IDA and show your support at facebook.com/IDA. Let me start that again. Facebook.com/iRacing Drivers Association. There you go. And the good folks at, this is important. This is Australia Migration Services, providing professional migration advice and visa service for anyone seeking to come to or stay in Australia. For expert advice and assistance with your Australian visa matters, contact them at thisisaustralia.com. Thanks to the company's equipment and the software that you see on the screen right now that we use on the broadcast. The original music that you heard on today's broadcast is thanks to Eric Eckelman and Casey Lalonde. See the screen for how to contact each of them. The iRacing Drivers Association GT3 World Championship Series returns in 2 weeks. That's going to be round 3. The doubleheader from Silverstone and Lime Rock. That's right, 2 tracks in one event, and GSRC will be there to bring you all the doubleheader action. We hope that you join us. For more information about GSRC, the best bet is of course the globalsimracingchannel.com. We're also on Twitter at GSR Channel and Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel. Or you can just Google GSRC and you'll get the Golden State Rottweiler club. Finally, on behalf of my mate, the Australian sage Richard Lausper, our director Amjad Yaman, and our camera artist Dougie Beard, I'd like to thank all of you for watching. And now that the housekeeping is out of the way, it's time for us to have fun storming the castle. So until next time, race hard, race clean, and we'll see you on the track.